I'll get you,
Got
big
this.
bad
Let's
wolf.
pull it together.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's Improv Mystery Night. A one-shot Wednesdays. This is the second part of it for our urban fantasy noir piece. Camera shifted a little bit, so I will take care of that after we get done with our announcements, but that is of no consequence. So I would like to say, first and foremost, today is March 27th, 2019, and you are loved. And I want all of our viewers and audio listeners to remember that, because I feel like it's important. Second of all, this is being streamed live at twitch.tv/The Indoor Adventurer. So all you audiocast people or people watching the VOD, if you want to find out what it's like to experience this show live, you totally can, because at the halfway break today, I'm going to be dropping a link to our Discord chat into the Twitch chat, so people who are active in Twitch will end up getting a chance to come into the Indoor Adventurer chat without needing to be subscribed or support on Patreon. So you should do that. It's a cool place for cool people, or if I do say so myself, because all of these wonderful people are there as well. Also, of course, there's one thing that we haven't mentioned yet today that we totally should, which is, hey guys, did you know that you can get an excellent Indoor Adventures mug? This one's only the 11 ounce, but we've recently added to our store a 15 ounce mug that will hopefully make Greybeard happy and will hold an appropriate amount of liquid. We also unveiled a new line of mugs that we are calling Mug Shots, which feature the faces of the 4 characters from our Waterdeep campaign, which just ended last night. So those are going to only be up for a limited quantity, not time. So if you are interested in claiming a mug before Greybeard ends up buying them all, then I would totally suggest you get on that immediately. But that's just a suggestion. But other than that, you can help support us on Patreon, and then using the money from patreon.com/The Indoor Adventurer, we can also go to support more shirts, because designing things can take some money and production can take some money. But with your help, we can make shirts like the one I want to get that says Hint of Fae in the LaCroix style, or Unleash Your Inner Daddy with Blake and then Tarlayan behind it, can become a reality. So if you want to help make those shirts possible, you know what to do. That being said, guys, I believe it's time that we do a brief recap. But first, who are we playing tonight? I know that I am going to be playing Hazel Harker, a young 20s girl with psychic powers who likes to help out her sister. Greybeard.
And I'm going to be playing that sister, Detective Rue Harker. And I'm Wings, also known as Danae.
Yes.
Other players?
Sorry.
I'll let my mistress go first. How's that?
I'm gonna be playing Lilith, who is a mob wife who's on the search for her husband. No, her wife, Rosie.
I'm playing Beltane Hawthorne. I'm Lilith's bodyguard, loyal friend, and servant in this beautiful gangster world that we live in.
It should be mentioned that Lilith is a vampire, and Beltane,
I am a vampire.
and Beltane is like a 10,000-year-old fae. So
We're best friends.
Harkers are just plain old, regular old, vanilla old humans.
Sometimes I astral project myself.
Oh yeah, that too.
and Detective Harker can see through the veil to what the monsters that live in our fabulous port town really are. She has the sight, as it were.
Just keep my eyes open.
And a briefcase full of stuff to kill the monsters.
Yeah.
Is there anything really we need else to say about the characters that won't be brought up if
Not
I
about the
explain what
characters.
happened?
But
Okay.
there
All
is
right.
one thing that we do need to address first, which is Mesmeri, thank you for the follow. Now, something happens on our channel when we get a follow, and I'm glad it happened early on so everyone can know. Greybeard.
When we get a new follow and I'm on the show, I take this mallet and I hit that guy in the face.
It is the most satisfying of noises. All right. So, with that in mind, Greybeard, take us away.
So, this game we decided Wednesdays is One Shot Wednesday, and last week we were yammering back and forth, and we gathered our players, and we didn't know what we were playing until 1 a.m. the day of, and I went, you know what? I'm going to throw a game system together. So I cobbled a bunch of game systems: Fate, Numenera, Dungeon World, which is based on the Apocalypse system, and a little bit of this and that, some spices. And so we have a game system I put together on a spreadsheet in an afternoon. And we decided that we wanted to do 1920s horror noir. So basically like set in the 20s, supernatural, Hellboy, half a dozen CW shows, anything that has monsters and real people in the same universe, Buffy, Angel, all that kind of stuff. And so it should be noted that last week our damsel in distress, Lilith, the vampire mob wife, whose wife is a half orc or an orc? Half orc mobster, and leads the gang. What did we decide today? What did you go with?
Rosie's Riveters.
Rosie's Riveters, because her name is Rosie. And
the Riverette.
and Rosie had gone missing, which when you're a mobster, that can be dangerous. So they decided, her and her servant, Beltane, the Fae, decided that they would go and hire a detective who's on the edge and takes these weird cases with monsters. And that's where they walked into Detective Harker's office and made their first meeting with Hazel. And the detective, they were kind of down on their luck. So the old money that Lilith has and was throwing about seemed like some good cash. So they took the case without much question. In the case, they found, who all did you guys run into? You ran into, how did you get the clue for the library?
Hazel astral projected into Rosie's body.
That's
I
right.
think we got the clue for the library. Shoot.
I looked through my files and called in some favors.
That's right.
Prior to that, the Hazel Harker. Whew, I wanted to say Hansel. I'm sorry,
Hansel
dyslexia.
Harker.
Well, I looked at your name and my dyslexia flipped some letters around, and I'm like, no, it's not Hansel. So Hazel, who astrally projected, learned to astrally project when her boyfriend or fiance?
My boyfriend
was off fighting the Hun in World War I. And so she actually, while astrally projecting, saw the death of her beloved and learned that she could do this. So she stretched out her psychic powers. And because Rosie was on the edge of death, she could contact her. And they were able to do a momentary switch. So Lilith was able to talk to Rosie maybe for the last time.
Don't say that.
And I have to. I'm DM.
I know.
If I knew where my Darth Vader mask was, I would put it on. Anyway, so after that, Detective Harker looked through her files, called in some favors, and found out that there was a gala going on at the library, and that. Go ahead.
No, I was just more like, the library.
Yeah. At the library. So they used vampiric charm to get their way into said library, and began to walk through the stacks of books, and they found themselves seeing small black shadows flit left and right and up and down, and they Beltane was able to identify said spirits, and they were gremlins German gremlins from the pines of Europe, the Bavarian forests. And you found yourselves lost in the stacks, and they were walking in circles, and they kept passing the same books, and the shadows would make them turn different ways. So Harker reached in to her briefcase and pulled out a picnic, because that's what you do. You do trick said spirits. And where we left off, they had spread out a picnic, and the little shadowy spirits who did by chance, Wings, did you put your little sketch up anywhere of the gremlins?
I did not, but I have it right here.
Aha, there it is. Our little German wood pine spirits. They came creeping from the shadows, and they were sitting at the very edge of the picnic blanket, and they couldn't seem to enter it. So they started kind of circling around and begging for the food that was on the picnic blanket. And that is where we left off. So to set the scene, we fade back in, and we move down to the edge of the picnic blanket. What does the picnic blanket look like, Harker?
Oh, it's just classic, plaid, red on white.
Perfect. And we pan down, and the little gremlins seem to be held back by some force. They cannot enter the blanket. Our 4 characters are all sitting amongst the crackers and cheese. And what was did we have a beverage?
There's little pots of honey and some milk.
And so they couldn't get to it. And that's where we'll see them begging. We'll pan up and out, and we see our 4 picnickers sitting on the blanket. What's everybody's mindset and attitude? Let's start with you, Hazel.
So,
I mean, what does Hazel look like, so that anybody who wasn't here last week can get a visual?
Well, since we were going out about the town, I put on my very nice white coat that I have. It's the 20s, and I have a bob haircut. I have auburn-colored hair, and I am wearing a kind of like, I don't know the name for the hat, but it has the dome, kind of like the explorer's hat, and a small brim that usually has like a little bit of mesh around the sides of it. It's also white. And again, she thought that like we were going to a gala, so gloves, all of that, as much as she could. It didn't take us. I mean, we looked through Beltane's trunk for clothes, right?
Yeah, we gave you fur coats.
You stole,
It cost you like 2 years of
his
your life.
very nice fox coat.
Oh yeah, I'm wearing the fox coat. Yeah, so I am wearing that. And then I can't remember, did we establish that I can't see through the veil? I can only do that when I'm astrally projecting?
Correct.
So I
don't
see
see the
nothing.
gremlins.
I'm just like, why are we having a picnic again? Just kind of
They might even just look like rats to you or something.
Yeah,
Squirrels.
because of the veil, they might look like rats or just shadows or something out of the corner of your eye, and when you look, there's nothing there. That sort of thing.
I like to think that they would be rats because it's the 20s, so like, rat problems pretty common. And the fact that it's just like, oh, these ones aren't rats. And I just see all of these rats at the edge of the blanket. I am just wide-eyed looking at my sister, just sipping the tea.
Yep.
So is
Harker...
this supposed to happen, or...
And over Harker, as she says that, she looks to you. We move over to see Detective Harker. What does she look like?
Harker is leaned over, kind of like in a very unladylike fashion, kind of squatted on this blanket, kind of like holding a cookie and scrutinizing it and looking back and forth, trying to decide like, how are we going to go about this? And she's got curly blonde hair, kind of like stuck to her head in that classic 1920s sort of helmet. And she's wearing some borrowed furs. I believe it's rabbit. And rather than her normal suit and trench coat, she's got on an actual dress and hose and heels, which she seems quite uncomfortable in, and also some bright red lipstick. And she's just like, Now, I know exactly what to do with this, but I do think, Hawthorne, you should take it from here.
Okay, and then as Harker says that, the camera moves over to pan in on Beltane Hawthorne. What do you look like?
Beltane Hawthorne kind of just leans over. He looks over and smiles. He's a very tall, fey-like being. He has a peaky blinder haircut, pinstripe suits, well-dressed, well-mannered outfit, blue eyes set in a black, what is the white of the eyes called again?
The white of the sclera.
The sclera, yeah. He has blue eyes set in black sclera, and he has a light blue skin, very long pointed ears, and he just shakes his head. Yeah, sure. Feed the little blighters.
And as you say that, we pan over and down a little to Lilith. Lilith, how are you presenting yourself upon the picnic blanket?
I'm right next to Beltane because I do not trust anything that's happening right now. Lilith looks like, as I've described her before, basically a 1920s Morticia, but she has like that nice wavy long black hair with those like finger curls. She's very, very pale, and she has a deep red, like dark deep red lipstick. And no matter the time of day, she always has sunglasses on, even at night, inside a library.
Okay.
And a perpetual, like, always on, like, cigarette on, like, a cigarette holder.
Okay.
And, like, a nice, sleek black dress.
All right. Okay, Beltane, you tell Harker that you just have to feed the little blighters. And Harker, what do you do?
I'm gonna throw a cookie, like, into the midst of the little gremlins.
Okay.
See how they react.
All right. They snatch it up and they it sort of just, you basically, to Hazel it looks like the rats swarm it, but to the rest of you, they get there, two of them pick it up and another two start kind of breaking pieces off and trying to make sure the pieces are about the same size, and they start handing them.
Oh no!
And like I said, you see more shadows in the line, but there's nowhere near enough cookie for all the shadows.
Man, little communists.
That's freaking adorable. I expected like a piranha swarm.
But I'm seeing the piranha swarm, right? Or am I watching these rats like?
No, you were seeing rats like and crumbs fly and they're biting each other, and the horrors that the veil will show. Harker, you have a know thy enemy skill, right?
I do.
Okay, please let's go ahead and roll that using your brains, I think.
All right, I can re-roll int checks on information about supernatural creatures. This is an 8 + 1, so that's a 9.
Nice. Okay. One moment. I got to take a note here.
Beltane will speak up. Of course, if you feed them, more might come.
Of course they will. They're rats.
So you got a 9. So you know that you have to make a deal with them. You can't just feed them. So you have to like invite them to the picnic, and then they'll owe you. Right
Cool.
now, you gave it willingly. So.
Right. No, just, it's an appetizer. Whet their appetite. Get them excited about it. So, all right. So it looks like you guys like that, huh?
And the little shadow heads.
Alrighty. Well, there's plenty here for everybody. But in order for you to get to it, I'm going to need you guys to tell me where the gnome is.
And they all, and you hear, if any of you do speak German, you hear them speaking in little German bits and bobs.
The language of the enemy.
No.
They're super adorable, by the way.
Does anyone speak like in character?
No, yeah, in character. I mean, Beltane, maybe.
I took a little German in high school, but
like
Beltane probably
Lilith
would,
is
as
a
he's
woman of the world.
yeah, Beltane's of the world, and he's
for a while.
probably old enough to learn both new and old German.
I was gonna say, yeah, the ancient Germanic tongues. So yeah, you realize that they're arguing about it, and that it seems like what's your plus in charisma or charm? Sorry.
Charm, it's 3.
Okay.
Plus.
All right. You realize that they were brought here from Bavaria against their will.
oh no.
And so they are gladly ready to turn on the gnome.
Oh no, gremlin trafficking.
So they say that they were trapped within the books when they came here, and now that he's bound them to the library and the books and made them work for him. So the debate is very quick, and they decide that heck yeah, they'll show you through the shadow maze, and they all line up around the edge of the picnic, and Hazel, literally the rats are formed up around you in a circle at the edge of the blanket.
I translate everything to the detective and Hazel and just chuckle like, it's sad to see gremlins transported against their will, but they're quite adorable.
Hazel,
That's a different kind of book binding than I've ever heard of.
I'm sorry, I gotta. Hazel, you're gonna have to give me a moxie roll. These rats are freaking you out, man.
This is a lot to take in, This is 2d6?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hazel, you've gotten yourself into it again this time. I got a total of 12.
Oh,
nice.
Ooh,
snap.
nice.
My sister and I have done this several times before.
I'm going to say that you have definitely been to some form of Fey picnic. And
Or a lot of therapy.
and your psychic powers let you see beyond the veil for a moment, and they all become these little adorable little shadow Fey standing at the edge of the blanket. And Harker, you said you made the deal, and you said you lead us through the maze, and there's plenty for everybody, right?
All right. Actually, let's be a little more specific about this.
All right.
They seem so lovely, though.
You realize you made a deal promising food to all of them. That means they're gonna find you afterwards.
Thank you for the bits.
Listen, I'm not done yet. I didn't say the deal was done yet.
Yeah.
Harker just looks back and forth between Hawthorne and the gremlins, suspiciously.
I'm not the one making a deal with the Fae.
This food right here on this blanket. This is all yours after you've taken us to the gnome and after we've left unharmed. In exchange, you get this. She points back down at the blanket.
Ach, wir lieben. And they to talk all the way around the blanket, and they none of them get out of line though. So it's like a game of telegraph where they whisper and then they whisper and they whisper, and it goes all the way around and comes all the way back. And then one of them who was the one who began speaking, he nods his head real big, and then bows.
Harker's gonna look back at Hawthorne. Just,
Oh, I think she froze.
The Fae has gone off to another realm.
Oh, things like it was too much.
Oh, okay. I think you're back.
Okay.
Yeah.
We lost you for a second there.
My necks are being funky.
Harker's gonna look at Hawthorne like one last time, just as the like.
You made the deal with the Fae, not me.
So wait, so you're saying these aren't rats?
No.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
They're gremlins, darling.
Well, whatever they are, they're very nice. And Hazel's just like giving small morsels of food to them at the side of the table.
And you notice that they're like taking it and looking at it and look a little, their shoulders slump and they break a little teeny piece off and pass it to the next one, and they break a teeny piece off and pass it to the next one.
I'll
Please
lean
stop
down.
tormenting my people.
I'll lean down and whisper because I don't know German, but I hope they speak common. You know, after the gala, they usually have a bunch of extra food that they're just going to throw out. If you went out to the dumpster after whatever that is that they're doing out there, you could probably have a whole load of food.
Okay.
I'm just gonna let them know. I don't know if they speak German or not, or they speak English.
They look like they understand, and they start to pass it in both directions around in their own language. So someone must have gotten it. Oops, I'm typing the wrong thing.
They deserve to know. Those cucumber sandwiches are going to go to waste otherwise.
Right.
I don't know why I have a slightly European accent right now.
It's, spirits are floating into your head. There's obviously some effect. Okay, so they bowed and agreed to the deal. So they're waiting on you at this point.
Yep. Getting no help from Hawthorne. Harker is gonna be like, okay. Before I think better of this, let's just do it.
I mean, the worst they're gonna do is steal your shoes.
And
I need new shoes anyway. She turns around.
Like I said,
all right, kids, it's a deal.
They couldn't get past the edge of the blanket. There seemed to be some spell or magic holding them back as you set up the picnic. So once you say that, they step back and allow you to fold the picnic up into the blanket, or however you're going to put it away, or carry it.
I'll just leave it here.
Oh, you leave it? Oh, awesome.
We can
okay.
come back to it later.
Yep, and you see them. They have to skirt around it like it's a block, like a big block on the floor, and they seem to split into like 3 or 4 groups, and one of them, they all, because of the sight, they get in shape like an arrowhead. So the flat, and then 2 lines, and then out, and then an arrowhead pointing in a direction, and then you see them all standing, in like precision guard step kind of thing. And
am I seeing them as rats, like once we leave?
You see rats, but they're not in any shape. They're just kind of a wad of rats.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was hoping that it would be like tiny little rats at attention.
Nope. Not to those without the sight.
Just a mental check. Just, these are tiny shadow people who are hungry. Like nodding to myself.
The rest of the other 2 groups just like turned into those little wisps that you saw before, and are up amongst the shelves and whatnot again. So as you collect yourselves and get together, the arrow starts to move.
Oh, an arrow.
Okay. All right. You begin following the arrow, and it really doesn't take long because it's just a library. But with the shadow magic working against you before, you guys were here for like an hour just wandering in circles. And as you get close to the like the back of the library, like where there's obviously some offices or something, that's where we will go to our scene change.
Ooh.
So you get to an office. It says, chief librarian, and it says, like William Davis, blah blah blah, and then those of you with the site see underneath it that it says Wilhelm Hochschlatter, and it's in like little letters that can't be seen by anyone else, but that's what you see like scrawled underneath it in like that's a Michigan reference. I forget what times it is, but it's like the Gothic letters. They're all like slashy little lines in any open spaces and starbursts and stuff. So the letters are all done up like that.
Nice calligraphy.
Yeah. Like some kind of bold
English style.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, exactly.
I studied fonts for some time.
Yes, exactly. And that's why I can't remember the darn name of it. Okay. So, and then as you open the door, that's where we'll go to scene change. Anybody needs to go get a drink or something, go grab it real quick while
Well, Graybeard does this. And if you don't, we could also do character background stuff. Just already talking to each other on the way here.
I have so much content for Lilith. I got so excited.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yes. So
You share.
What do you want to know?
everything. Tell us about Lilith. Give us, like, what's her favorite food?
Blood.
Oh, I mean, that actually makes sense now that I think about it. I was gonna say, like, okay, how about this? What was her favorite food? Or where was she pre-turned? Like, where is she from initially before she became vampire?
What was the human Lilith?
Vampire.
Human
Is Lilith him, or did she just call
I
herself
didn't think
that
of that,
after?
like, more specifically. I kind of, like, just thought France because of the name Molyneux that our friend gave us. So I just thought France, but she, like, doesn't have a French accent because I can't do one, so without insulting people at least. And for her backstory, I came up with that she was, like, from a very wealthy family, and so you know how wealthy families have arranged marriages. So if these are the 1920s, it would have probably been, she's almost like around 100 years old, so this is the 1800s. And she got turned because some wealthy asshole vampire liked her, but she was like, no, thank you. I'm good. And so he turned her to, like, have her and, like, marry her. And so she was his for a while because he was her sire. She got tired of it and she killed him.
As you do.
As you
Riddler's
do.
good sire ganking.
Yeah.
And Lilith, so she'd be like, what's a girl to do? So she, like, decapitated him and burned him in a pyre.
Holy shit!
How else would you kill a vampire?
Yeah,
After being enslaved
gotta
in
be
somebody's
thorough.
life, what else is a girl to do?
Right.
Just girl things.
And so she was now her own undead woman again. And she kind of traveled for a little bit and, like, amassed her wealth until she came here and started making she came up with this idea of just starting, like, this underground thing, like, kind of build up her power, because why not? You were, like, alive for however many years. Why not start a mob? Somewhere along there, she met Beltane, and they made a contract willingly, both parties, because they're best friends now. And then as she was creating this empire, she was looking for, heavy hitters, hired guns, and she went to go get Rosie, who used to be a boxer.
Oh
Oh, female half-orc boxer?
Yeah.
In, like,
Nice.
1890s time, just bare-knuckle beat the shit out of each other at the pier for money? I'm totally about this.
Right? And because, you know, if you wanted some muscle, Rosie was your girl. And so she went to see one of Rosie's fight, and she offered her a deal of like being in her mob as like a bodyguard type, or like just in it. I haven't worked out all the details. But Rosie actually turned her down the first couple of times. And
playing hard to get.
Right?
It's all about that chase.
And so Liz kept coming to her fights, trying to convince her, up until one point, Rosie was like, I'll do it. Because Lilith was trying to convince, she's like, I'll give you money, I'll give you protection, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. And Rosie's smooth. Rosie was like, I'll do it for a date.
Oh.
Shit.
Nice. I like it.
Yes.
Real good.
And then they got together. And then it was actually, I think, a combination of both, but that they came up with the idea of Rosie being the face of the mob, because while Lilith is strong, she has very obvious weaknesses. She's a vampire.
The sun.
The thing that keeps the earth alive. So yeah, they came up with that. And now she's here with her kidnapped wife. Not here. Trying to get her back.
Nice.
And that's what I did, and not not really extra time, but I was really tired in class, and I wasn't interested in what the teacher was saying. And I'm like, what if?
That's the best way. That is the best way to use class time.
That's where all the best brainstorming comes in, is when you're supposed to be thinking about something else.
Mm-hmm.
I am ready, but if you guys want to continue your scenes, that's fine.
Well, there's probably going to be more scene changes down the road, so let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So that was a little bit about Lilith. That's what we heard.
That was our flashback.
All right.
Which is hard because flashbacks are usually in sepia tone, but like all of the 1920s is sepia tone.
It's
this one was in color for some reason.
Yeah, there you
just black and white.
All right. So as you open the door,
I'm ready for this.
There is but a hat sticking above the chair.
Oh, no.
And you hear a voice say, "Oh, visitors. How did you get here?"
Oh, no.
Hello.
Oh, my God. For the audio cast, we have just seen before us a lawn gnome turn around slowly and dramatically in a swivel chair.
4 foot tall lawn gnome.
Oh my goodness.
His head's bigger than mine.
It's huge.
Oh,
All right.
I think.
What was this guy's last name?
Side.
I didn't write it down. Yeah. Strike is the last part. Harkle Strike.
Harkle Strike, I presume.
Yeah, that is me. How did you get past the shadow maze?
Never mind that. I'm pretty sure we've got some questions for you.
One moment.
Ow.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
So it's even better now.
I've got my gnome hat.
No. Again, let me tell you the auto hat.
Okay.
DM now is wearing a gnome hat.
Okay, so I kind of got the beard, so we're good.
Oh, there you go. It works.
It actually is. It is quite striking.
Thank you. Tavern Sparrow made this for me for my garden gnome costume. So from years ago. So yeah, that is me. How did you make it past the shadow maze?
Oh, you're going to be answering the questions around here, sir.
Okay, I am willing. I do that well. And there's just books everywhere. I mean, this office is just full of books. So okay. Anyway,
These books are going to come to life and kill us. Okay. I know exactly what to do here. I say, stalling. We're here on a missing persons case, Mr. Harklestrike. You wouldn't happen to know where Miss Rosie would be?
The mob boss, I assume?
Oh yeah, I guess that is her occupation. A Miss Rosie the Riveter, of the Riveters.
There's very little I cannot find out.
Oh, that's funny. Because Rosie herself told me that you would be the one to know where to find her.
Well, many things have gone missing lately. Are you okay, Indor?
I'm fine. I'm just keep going. Don't look at me.
Right. You're like totally red, dude. You're just like a different color. So
I'm aware.
What does this guy look like to Hazel?
Yeah, what is this whole
behind the veil?
Oh, he totally is like.
Is he actually just a lawn gnome?
No, he looks like he looks more like
a regular dude. Oh,
he's like an old bookkeeper.
Yeah, he just looks like an old librarian should.
Okay.
You know, he's got patches on his elbows and the whole bit.
It's no wonder why Harker looks like a loon.
Exactly. Walks into a diner and just starts, punching some old lady, it's actually like a troll, and the troll's all snarls and claws, and you're like, pull out a 38 and people are pulling you off this old lady. That's what I see Harker's life
She's
like.
She's had too many malts. It's okay.
Exactly.
She has the moon sickness.
I swear it's responsible for 5 murders under the bridge.
It's the last thing I'll ever do. I got the Goat Brothers backing me. All right. So, so you're going to be answering the questions here. Where did we leave off? That's what you said?
Miss Rosie told me that you'd be the one to tell me where she is. So obviously you know something.
I will gladly tell you. Like I said, many things have gone missing lately. Mm-hmm. And he leans back and he gets out a big old book. He opens it and Lilith, you don't see this, but Beltane and Harker, you see when the book opens, there's like glitter and sparkles and a gold light comes up out of the book, and he begins like thumbing through it and like licking his finger and paging through, and you guys all read the Twitter account, right? Did you read the tweets?
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I looked at it and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome! I will check this out later."
There were clues for tonight's game within the Twitter account.
I couldn't see beyond the veil, Graybeard.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't see beyond the veil.
Yeah. All right.
What is this newfangled Twitter thing?
Twitter thing.
From the 1920s.
That's right. But there were supposed to be rumors that you guys could hear from Biggie Bad Wolf.
Biggie Bad Wolf.
Don Biggie Bad Wolf.
Biggie Bad Wolf.
Follow him on Twitter.
He has a Twitter, guys.
I'll link the Twitter. I will link the Twitter in the chat below.
And he's also a Twitch streamer.
Oh God.
God no.
I created the Twitch account too. Okay. Because I'm out of control. And he says, "So you've seen the papers. Many of the newsies are missing too. Parents are in an uproar. But it would appear, as he looks down the page, that none of the newsies have parents. They were all orphans." And he's looking at you like you should tell him something like you should have an eureka moment. And he's a little sad. His smiley face kind of gets a little sad.
Harker's got a pretty good poker face when she has no idea what's going on.
Okay. Beltane, give me a brains roll, please. Hawthorne, brains roll. 2d6 plus your brain score, if you'd be so kind.
Not this Harker? Different Harker?
I thought I said Hawthorne. Or did I say Harker?
He did say Hawthorne.
Okay.
But he said Beltane first.
Okay.
And she was frozen at the time.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
So,
yes.
It's part of being a fae in the material plane. Sometimes it doesn't sync up.
The connection's not the best.
Yeah, it's spotty at best.
5.
Okay. All right. You don't put 2 and 2 together, and the gnome is like, starts to close his book and starts to put the book away, and it's like, if you can't even get that clue, how are you ever going to find your wife? And he's looking right at you, Lilith.
This whole time, all you hear is like Lilith's nail just...
like her normal people type nails, or are you just like scratch wood desk,
they've slowly been like getting longer and longer.
Okay. And you see that he seems concerned, but it doesn't change his happiness level. And he's like, fine, I will give you this one. The newsies are disappearing. Something is making them disappear, but it is only the goblin ones.
That's where you're going with that. That's so.
So basically, yeah, you guys know that half of the newsies in town. Anybody in chat who doesn't know what a newsie is, it's the little boys. Extra, read all about a nickel for a paper, sir. You know that those are newsies.
It's the pre-evolution of Christian Bale.
Yes, it's nice. And so half of the ones in town are. Or indoor.
Ender's gonna die in this game.
I love this game.
And so the newsies are disappearing, but only the ones that are orphans seem to be disappearing. So he's filling you in. The goblins are disappearing.
Right. Okay, so we're speaking code that the orphans are the goblins, except for that one, the one that actually is an orphan, little Timmy. Down the lane.
And he didn't disappear. A clue. All right.
Goblins aren't. Okay, so I'm working off of D&D rules. Goblins aren't fae, but in this campaign, would they be considered?
They're covered by the veil. So yes, they fall into that monster strangeness, like the half-orc is probably not a fae technically, but they are an offshoot of elves, hence blah, blah, blah. We'll kind of go Tolkien on this a little bit because, JR would have been writing in the 20s. So, it's all good. And
a little more closely related here.
Yeah, and he says, he flips the page, and so, it would appear that some of your people, my people too, he says to Hawthorne, they have gone missing also. A famous singer has gone missing, and she is a very beautiful elf.
Wait, which thing is this?
And he has gone missing. Sorry, I screwed that up.
He's still beautiful.
He's still beautiful. Some would appear that a fawn named Buxton. Buxton has disappeared. And
like mentally Hazel's destroyed. Like, he was a fae?
Wait.
Because I'm just seeing this old man tell us all this. I'm not saying a no.
Right.
How do you know Buxton?
Yeah.
I visited the European jazz clubs in astral form.
And he says, many of the smaller folk have also gone missing. They, the wee ones, the sprites and the pixies, they are gone too.
But why?
Let us turn a page. They are,
Love him.
they do not exist. They are gone.
No, they do exist. I've
No.
seen them.
No,
I've talked to them.
not dead even.
Listen, you're not supposed to be the one to tell me that things don't exist. If they don't exist, you don't exist. They exist.
I like your
Harker's been
jape.
triggered.
Your jape is funny. It makes me laugh to myself. Oh, okay. So if they don't exist, because if they were dead, it would say they're dead, but they do not exist anymore. They are gone. Poof. No longer of this world. Or they could have become something else, maybe. But it doesn't say that here either.
Harker looks very perturbed by this. Is there any amount of research that I could have done that would point as to the cause of this?
Go ahead and make a know thy enemy roll.
Okay. Ooh, that's pretty good.
Oh no.
That's an 11 on the die. 12.
Nope.
12. Holy. Okay. Yeah. What would you know? You would know that something is either banishing them or not eating them, changing them into something else. They're being transmogrified or they're being sent to a different realm completely.
Okay.
Which is disturbing as F for you.
Yeah.
Normally the things here, when you kill them, they die and the veil protects them and makes them look like dead bums or dead old ladies or whatever, so
right. She was a troll, I swear. Okay. All right.
So while you are thinking, I have a small book for each of you, if you would like it. And he off the stack, and you notice now that most of the books in the room, except like the ones on his desk, most of the books are the same little book, and it's just this little book. It's almost like a primer, like a grade school primer of the time. And he pulls one and he hands it to Harker, I guess. And
he's gonna have to slide it across the desk, and she doesn't touch it.
Okay.
And she's all like, "Oh, I didn't bring anything for you."
Oh, I give this freely. Oh, you're so smart. I like you. And he flips a page, and then he pulls a quill out of. He pulls a quill out of an old treasure chest. I mean, a
knowledge chest, because knowledge is treasure, Greybeard.
That's right. He pulls a huge quill out, and he's like, "Oh, I like that. I will write that down." And he puts it down, and he's like, "I give it to you freely."
She'll reach out, like, tentatively and kind of, like, slide it towards her with one finger.
Okay.
And flip it open.
Okay, it's all in German.
Great. She's gonna throw it at Belle. Just like nonchalantly, like over her shoulder, just like, great.
Lob it.
Lob.
I catch it.
I have plenty. All of you can have one. Freely given, no exchange, no deal. And he's starting to pull copies off for everyone.
Lilith's gonna take one because I'm gonna assume, as we found out, Lilith was from a wealthy family in her human days.
Okay.
So she would have had language studies or whatever the fuck.
All right. And then
people do.
He basically sets out a copy for each of you. And Beltane, as you're looking at it, this is like anarchist cookbook. You're like, and this how to make explosives in your kitchen. You're flipping through it, and it's talking about how World War I was a travesty, and how the German people have been to blame for everything that happened there, and how they need to, just as you're flipping through it, like I said, it's the assembly and disassembly of handguns, how to clean a shotgun, flip it, how to make basically like napalm, like a jellified flammable, how to make a Molotov cocktail, and the problems with organized government is in there too.
This is brilliant. I don't necessarily agree with all these points, but thank you.
Oh, it's for all of you. I plan on sending, a boat of them home for this.
No, you shouldn't. You should not do that, ever.
No, it is my life goal. I wish to return to a good Germany. It's the Germany we have now. It's full of them Jews.
Oh no!
I'll turn to the detective. I can
closes
now or later.
He closes the book and he starts to put it away.
You don't realize what you've done. She likes drinking egg creams and punching Nazis.
Liz is gonna step up and be like, "Is there any more information that you would like to give us?"
Hazel raises her hand.
No, it's just one of those like.
Oh, you're centering. Okay. So you could talk to the other gangs. They may know something, but the book did tell me so Rosie is not dead. She's too tough for that. She has not been poofed like the sprites and the pixies.
Does the book tell you anything about where she is?
Oh, let us look one more time.
I mean, detective, I could just, iron bullet to the head. It'd be fine, quick, easy.
Harker's just like white knuckling the chair.
Hazel is also white knuckling, but it's her handbag in front of her.
Lilith is just holding out a finger to you guys.
I mean, half of these recipes are stolen from Greek gods.
Rosie is being held somewhere in great agony, and
yes, we've known that.
Underground, and there's running water.
Is she still in this realm?
She is. Oh, but she espies the doorway. And he looks back at the page, and he shakes his head, and he opens his eyes, and his eyes are just white. And he starts feeling around, and he's like, I cannot see the book. The book would tell me, but I know I am under a spell. I can no longer read the book. I can no longer help you.
Can anyone else read the book?
Does that book only work for you?
I'm going to take the book from him.
Oh, okay. You're pulling it, and he's surprisingly strong. Obviously, using some kind of magic. And but what is your?
Click him on the nose.
What's your brawn skill?
It's 0 because I'm more charming.
Can I help? Can I
Okay.
actually snatch the book? Because I have pretty
So-
good brawn.
So you reach in and you just and he almost comes out of the chair with it, but at the last second, like his little curly boots like snag on the edge of the desk, and he falls back and he's like, "Oh, that's my book. You can't use it. See for yourselves. Try to look in the book." And do you open the book?
I flip it open just to see the inside.
Now, do you go to where his ribbon marker is, or do you just open the cover of the book?
I more of thumb through the pages, and when I get to where he's marked it, I open it all the way.
Okay. So as you're going along, it's empty page after empty page after empty page after empty page, and then when you get to the page with the ribbon, please make a moxie roll.
Okay. 4.
A 4. Okay.
Yeah.
So as you're you see this page and it's blank and the ribbon's there, you suddenly feel drawn into it, and you find yourself staring into the book, and as you're staring into the book, the horrors shriek out at you from the pages, and you seem to be falling into this book, into this horror. You see Rosie there, and she's got like chains and some sort of green plant like something connecting her arms out, and she's screaming, and you are suddenly in her mind, and you are screaming, and the plant parts, the chains are holding her, but the plant parts are, to say torture is too kind of a word. It's almost like it's shredding her absolute soul. That which makes her is being torn and stretched. And as you find yourself screaming through Rosie's throat and voice, you suddenly have someone roll a d10.
Ooh.
Not it. Nose goes.
I get it.
This game's only
7.
56s.
What was it?
7.
7. Beltane, you take 7 points of sanity damage.
Ow.
Okay.
Can
I like snatch the book closed?
Visibly.
Like I said, Beltane just sort of looked like he was leaning into the book to look better, to get a better look at what all of you looking at. Are all of you looking at it?
No.
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 I think Beltane's too tall.
DM hands. Okay.
Can I just like snap the book closed and take it from Beltane?
Okay.
Yes, you can.
I wanted to use my watch this power on the old man that I see, and basically force push him up against the wall and lift him up if I possibly can.
Okay.
Man.
That's using my moxie.
Yep.
Is watch this.
Yep.
Alrighty. So 2d6 plus my moxie. So that's a total of 8.
Okay. So you see a saddened little gnome. His name.
I see an old man.
You see a saddened old man. A saddened old librarian slumped there, just sort of staring at nothing. But you do see that his eyes are white, like he's blind, and he's just sitting there, kind of dejected and sad. And all of a sudden, and he slid back. His chair is a old timey roller chair, and he slid back to the wall. And
I want to have my hand out, and one hand is down, like holding my handbag with like the power ripples going through body. So like the dress that I was wearing underneath my coat is slightly rippling. My hat kind of gets blown off by some unseen wind force. Nice. And while I'm doing it, just his name was John. And just hold him up against the wall.
Okay.
And just, I don't care that he was Jewish. He was a lovely boy. Try and lift him up on the wall. And just like eyes like white with power just coming out of him. Like I'm in a mode right now.
All right. And you notice that much like, well, I guess you don't notice it, but your hand, the extension of your power is kind of cutting through the veil, and what should be the old man's throat is like this. You're like, you can't really grip it, so you're more pushing it back than choking it out, because his neck is like that thick.
Yeah.
That gnome thick, and so you're just kind of squishing him against the wall. And he says, "I'm very sorry. We don't see eye to eye. They're horrible people."
Oh, buddy, now is not the time to double down.
Sorry, I'll just be in the character, man. I'm just being the character.
So am I.
Okay, so now, buddy, now's not the time to double down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Harper's gonna put a hand on Hazel's shoulder and be like, "Listen, you don't want to do this."
And Hazel just looks at you and just, why?
You don't want to be like them.
Beltane,
Yes, mistress.
take care of that.
Of course, mistress. I pull out a gun and place it against his head.
I'm just an author, someone who knows things. You made me.
You're a disgrace to our race, and I pull the trigger.
Oh shit!
So Hazel, old man brains. The rest of you, bloom, like some weird sparkle blood, like creates Jackson Pollock sort of display on the back wall. The gnome hat has a hole through the forehead, and Hazel, do you drop him?
Oh, you bet your ass I do. I heard a gunshot, and those are a no-go for Hazel.
So you just all the wind and everything just drops away and goes back, and it's just Hazel.
Oh, I drop with it, like down my knees kind of thing.
Okay, and the gnome old man slides down the wall and he bumps into one of the stacks of books, and it causes a domino effect, so the little red primers all kind of tumble over in a heap. What do you do?
I put the gun away and clean off my lapel and turn to the others.
What the fuck?
Hazel's just like hands
Did
like
you have any other options?
putting her hat back on her head.
Yeah, I could think of one or two.
I'm sorry you saw Fey justice, but that is the extent of my monstrosity.
Yeah, that's great. That's great and all. Fey justice and whatnot, but human justice is going to be in here, and we've got fingerprints all over the place.
I strike a match. No, we don't.
Yes.
I toss it to a book.
Parker's just gonna like heft Hazel off the ground and like start like strong arming her out of the room. That's our cue to leave.
I'm letting my sister take me. I'm putting
I
up
was
no
so
fight.
close to being like, light him up, like right before you did that. But I like this.
All right, as you make your hasty retreat from the gnome's office, you see the detachment of gremlins standing ready in their arrow formation, and they begin leading you back.
Detective, make sure you free them from their bonds.
As in, like
Give them permission to leave.
Oh.
You hold their contract after all.
Is that up to me?
Yes, that is your contract. They will die here if you don't.
You guys can leave.
And they kind of turn around as a unit, and they're like,
okay, grab the food first, but then get out of here. There's a fire.
And at that, the arrow goes in, like, you know, like say there was like 12 of them, and they go in 12 directions and just are gone. And you see the shadows along the shelves. You see books just begin popping out of the shelves and spilling onto the floor. And some of the books, as they're popping out, you see the little gremlin spirits, the shadow spirits, burst from them and then skitter along the shelves. And Hazel, you're seeing rats knock bookshelf shelves, and it's, you're like, this library's full of rats. So
good thing the fire's coming through. That'll get the rats right out of here.
Hazel, the rats are gremlins.
They're all just waterfalling down the bookshelves, just like.
Yeah, and like I said,
I know, but I'm saying the real rats will also get out of here.
All right.
Because back when we were at the picnic, she saw through the veil for that brief moment. She knows they're gremlins, but she also just does not like rats.
And we're 10 minutes out. Do we want to keep going and then stop then? And then
we can do a break right now if you're ready, if you want to.
Why don't we do that? That way I can get the foam off my head and turn the lights back on and that kind of thing.
Sounds good to me. So
that's it's good a break time as any.
Yeah. So all of you wonderful people who have been throwing thousands of bits at us, thanks. Thank you for coming by to our improv, mystery, fantasy, urban, noir. I feel like I can just keep adding tags onto this, and eventually vampire romance, humans, psychic, ghost, half-orc. We have
like
Nazis.
all those tags on fanfiction.
We got Nazis as well. That's how you know how authentic this fanfiction is. But we're Nazi killers. So I would like to say first and foremost, Graybeard, what the fuck? This is only the halfway mark. It just please. I am so excited to find out what is going to happen to us when we return in 5 to 10 minutes. So don't go no place unless it is to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly grab some merch at bit.ly/indoor merch. Or if you're here on Twitch, you can go and check that out below. We are going to be going into our break, but for all of you who are in our current chat, I am going to be dropping a quick join link to our Discord server. So if you're interested in maybe hanging out with the cast and crew of this show, you totally can, and it will be amazing. At least I hope it will.
My phone tells me I spend 30 hours on Discord a week, so, you know. I love you guys.
And we love you too, Graybeard, and that is why we are going to try and do our best to get even more people in to share into that love and affection. So we are going to be back in 5 to 10 minutes, so don't go no place. All right, everybody. See you soon! Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our improv night of urban fantasy and mystery. And you should follow Don Biggie Bad Wolf on Twitter because it is the greatest thing I have ever seen. And I watched Graybeard turn into a lawn gnome not even an hour ago. So that's saying a lot. And with that in mind, let us get back into the thing, please.
As we come into the scene, a side door opens, and there's already some smoke trailing our good friends. And what appears to the normal eye to be rats fleeing the building. But to those with the sight, see these little adorable little shadow gremlins bounding away with their little squirrel hands and off into the darkness, free from their bonds. And most of them are trying to carry honey and cookies and and other such from the picnic. Detective Harker, did you try to save any of that stuff, or did you just let them take it all? Like the picnic blanket or any of it?
Oh no, that's all theirs, man.
All right, okay. And you marked off a use of your eternal briefcase?
I did that last week.
Excellent. Okay. So you are in the side alley of the library.
Is there a fire alarm that we can pull? Do they have those yet? Or
Nope.
is this just in the era where we just yell fire?
Yeah. I'm sure they
Hey,
figure it out.
what was it? I believe you could use a luck point to alter the course of your fate. So if you wanted there to be some system set in place to alert about a fire,
or that it just burned the office, or
you know,
I was just gonna tap on a guard's shoulder.
Okay.
And be like, "There's a fire."
Okay. Are you charming him at all, or are you just?
Oh no,
saying?
I'm just telling him.
All right. Go ahead and yeah, just give me a charm roll.
Ooh, okay.
The first automatic electric fire alarm was patented in 1890.
Ooh, see?
Oh, hey.
We learned something today.
Pull the fire alarm.
I got a 7. So partial success.
Yep. He's like, oh, in the library?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go get some help. You stay right here, or over there across the street, maybe, and we'll figure out what happened. And he runs off.
Let's go.
Sorry. I love that. Stay right there. She's like, yes, sir. And she just walks away.
Yes.
Hoth or Beltane. Where'd you leave the car?
Out front, because I like to show off Tatiana to the fullest extent.
All right. So you guys are coming around the library and the museum to the front to get it, or?
Yeah, because we can just pick it up.
Okay.
It's my car.
Okay.
She's lovely.
You come around the side of the building, and now you're hearing some kind of bells or something in the building, going off, and people in their finery seem to be pouring out. Unlike the movies, there's no fire trucks coming or anything yet. It's way too soon for that.
It's more of like an alert system for the people inside versus it is like
right,
a combinal
right.
system.
Like something inside someone inside the building is like ringing a bell.
God, I hope I don't burn alive. Ding, ding, ding.
How long do I have to stay? Hey, anyone? How long do I have to stay?
A man, like an officer with like the white gloves, you know, like directing people.
With the whistle.
The noisiest man on the planet. He's got a bell, a whistle, a placard.
A giant drum on his back that he beats by stomping around.
Cymbals between his knees. All right.
We sure do know our stuff. That was the fire alarm back then.
Yes, you guys are coming around the edge of the building. Give me let me look at the stat sheet here. So you guys can either stealth to the car or charm your way to the car. So you're gonna act or you're gonna sneak.
Oh Lord.
But you have to do it as a group, not half of you sneak, half of you, unless you split up.
I'll turn to them and say, go down the alleyway. I can get to the car faster than the rest of you. Just don't get caught.
Be safe, Bill. Beltane.
I know.
I was about to call you Belthorn.
I just kind of smile and snap my fingers and turn invisible.
Yep. Good call. Good
Because
good use of your powers. Okay,
I swear, if I get any heat for this, I'm turning him in. It's going to be the first thing I do.
And you're just saying that out loud?
Yeah.
Okay. And Beltane, your car starts up without a driver. The door opens without a driver. But at this point, give me an agility roll.
Okay. 7, 8, 9. 9.
Okay. All right. Somebody or some people note that the car seemed to drive away by itself, but it's not enough for people to be like, oh, it was definitely, I know. There's some suspicion there. Maybe the veil is helping you a little bit with the car itself. And so you do a Yui. You do a Yui in the street with this fantastically beautiful car. You pick up your companions and you begin to drive away.
Yeah. I turn back as we're driving away and cough up a bit of blood and kind of wipe it off.
Mm.
The industrial age sucks.
Nice. Good call.
Wait, how did that happen?
I'm quite allergic to iron.
There weren't exactly a good environmental protection agency, so the amount of iron in the air from refineries is not the best.
Horrible.
I'm like, where's the iron?
Where's the iron?
Where's the iron?
I just kind of point to a distant factory.
It's in my blood. I've got blood. Oh my god, it's iron in my blood.
I need to get it all out.
Yes. All right. You two, Beltane, how much did you lose? Half of your sanity?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Is that something that we could ever regain back, or is it just lost
God,
forever?
I hope so.
Through rest, you'll get back in a normal night's rest. You'll get back whatever your brains and moxie score together are. You'll get that much back every day.
Oh, okay.
So there are things like, say you get some drug or drink that might bring that sanity level back up for the time temporarily, or heal you some, because it takes that stress off or takes that stress away. So like, laudanum or certain medicinal plants might help you out in those.
You heard it here first, kids. Drugs and alcohol will help you with your sanity.
Exactly.
Great.
I like that, Wings. Great. Okay. Does laughing help? Yes.
Laugh through the pain, guys. Just laugh through the pain.
The best medicine, some might say.
So, Beltane, we are going to. You are affected because you lost half your sanity by some kind of malady. Let us go to D&D Beyond and see if they have an insanity chart. We'll steal from them right now.
In the Dungeon Master's Handbook, or the Dungeon Master's Guide, on page... God, it's in the Shadowfell, if you are interested.
Yeah, it's like
Very
in the
close
hundreds
to
or something.
There's Abyssal Corruption. They also added new madness mechanics. Actually, we're going to use Mordenkainen's Foam of Toes.
Nice.
Foam of Toes.
Oh no! All of my books fell.
It's disgusting.
It was
Mordenkainen's Foam of Toes.
Yep.
Yes,
His
the
Foam of
Foam of
Toes. Oh god, so many books fell. That was
That's what you
terrifying.
get for saying that.
Make a roll one d10 on 10 reroll.
Oh, Jesus. Do I have a D10 on me? Yes, somewhere. That's a 12.
And yes, sanity is definitely a part of this game. And yeah, wings. All the characters have sanity and health.
Yeah,
so you have
go.
physical well-being and you have mental well-being.
I rolled a 9.
Okay, so I will find the appropriate madness. I would like for you, I guess at this point, I think, if we're going based off of this, make a D10 roll.
Dun dun dun.
4.
All right, so that is going to be the madness of Zugat Moy, and you periodically slip into a catatonic state, staring off into the distance for long stretches of time, which is our driver, I'm sure, has no ill repercussion.
I'm the driver, guys.
And do you have any luck points to spend to assuage?
Yeah. I'm good.
Okay.
I have 4 luck points. I will spend 1
to not be insane and go catatonic while you drive.
Yeah, and that's you are protecting yourself currently while driving.
Yes.
So we'll say that that's what your luck point was spent on. Okay. Where do you drive to? What's your next move?
I think I'll drive to Lady Mollyhoo's house.
Okay.
As it's the safest area I know. Then it has a lot of wards and protections that I put up personally for her protection.
Okay. So you're headed back to Vampire Manor. I mean, Rosie the Riveter's fortress.
Castle Rosie Loft.
A castle Rosie Loft. That's perfect. I love it. Okay. Yeah, you get there, no problem. As you get close, the normal guards seem to be patrolling how they do and what they are, and you have, as we discussed earlier during our Discord chats, you have some orcs, some goblins, and maybe even a troll on the payroll.
Mm-hmm.
So
I got some heavy hitters.
You're back at your manor. What do you do?
Can I make brains roll to see? I mean, Beltane, you have shared what you saw in the book?
I think once we're inside, he'll share it because he doesn't feel comfortable sharing it out in the open.
Okay.
So make a fortitude roll, Beltane, to share that.
Okay. 9.
Okay. You explain. Do you want to explain what you saw, like in your own words?
I will explain it as I saw what would be described as plants crawling their way up Rosie's body, tearing her soul in very fibers, beating apart. It was a hell I'm familiar with a long time ago. It was reserved for the deepest and foulest of beings, those who betrayed the court.
And as you finish saying that, you just sort of look off because you had a partial success, and so you fall into one of these catatonic states. But you're not driving.
Thank goodness.
Can I take Belton and sit him down
Mm-hmm.
so he doesn't fall over or something?
Okay.
And can I make a brains roll to see if I know what kind of mob would use plants underground would have this kind of magical power that they could use?
Yeah, you can make a brains roll.
Please.
Parker's gonna be familiar with a hell? You? I don't believe it.
To Hawthorne or to Lilith?
Yeah, to Hawthorne.
Okay.
I said I don't believe it, Belle.
Belle. Somewhere else.
Leave him be.
hand in front of his face.
I know math. I got a 10.
Oh.
I know things.
Okay.
I drink and I know things.
Yeah. Okay, Tyrion. Yeah, let's just all take a moment and just
have a sippy.
Oh. So this mug started this much Bailey's this evening. The rest was coffee.
That's where the gnome came from.
Yeah. So you know things. You got a 10. Wow, amazing. What can I tell you without ruining things? Okay, this is what you know.
I feel that. That's such a mood.
You know that this torture, this soul rending that Beltane was speaking of could only be a primordial, a being as old as time, that before there was time, even the primordials existed, and that that most likely this is an ancient being known as Groth, Groth, and
Groth. Okay.
And one of three, if you remember correctly, primordials. And I'll even, with the 10, I'll even say that you know that they are responsible for like a life cycle, like birth, death, rot, go back to the soil, type being. They are corruption. They are life and death.
What the fuck does that primordial want with my wife?
I don't know.
And I wouldn't know who has access to or like any connection to this primordial.
You know that, we'll say this, do you tell these guys? Do you say anything?
Yeah.
Okay. And as a supernatural being, you would also know that this time of year is when the veil gets thin. So it probably has something to do with that. Also, too, hey, let's take a moment and read what it says over in Biggie's
on Biggie's Twitter feed.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did.
Does anybody have it pulled up so I don't have to?
I do not currently. I can though.
I will have it pulled up in 1 second.
All right.
It is pulled.
Which one are we looking at?
I have it right here.
Just they're real quick, just statements and pictures. So just say what the picture is and then read the statement. Or I can, I guess, if we wanted. I mean, you're there already. Go for it.
Do that.
That way I don't have to log in. Who's there?
Yeah. No legal hooch means we got a corner on the market. And what's with this weather? It's been foggy for days.
It's perfect. That's Biggie's voice.
He's the dog father, you hear?
It's the dog father.
He's Biggie Bad Wolf.
Exactly.
It's bad with 3 E's and 4 Y's.
Probably a Z in there somewhere. So and with that, there's several pictures of like just a place fogged in. And that's what it's been like, which has been great for Lilith the last few days, because she can just walk around with, parasol not even open. And should be 2 more, right?
Yeah.
And a couple of vacation pics from when we was in England.
Okay. And they're werewolf attack pictures. And there should be the job one.
There appears to be some drow repelling the werewolves.
What game is this?
Me and the pack taking care of business.
And it's a picture of like a werewolf pack leaping a chain link fence.
Yeah, that one looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And
Nosies go missing. Parents worried that their kid'll be next.
and it's a big newspaper heading that says extra extra, read all about it.
Oh my God, yes.
So you know that. You know the goblins are missing. You know some sprites, or a lot of sprites, and a lot of pixies are missing. What else do we know?
We know that this book is bad news.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get a hold of that book? Lilith's got the book. Lilith, you still have that book? If you dropped the book, I would have picked it up. I want that book.
No, I have a book.
Give me that book.
Beltane holds out a copy.
Pray tell, detective, why would you want this book?
Well, I'm not gonna read it if that's what you're thinking.
I was sure to hope
Why
not
not?
after what happened to Beltane. No offense, but he's a little bit hardier than you.
It's just, she's gonna shake her briefcase a little bit. Yeah, I'm kind of a collector.
You can't have this book.
What do I know about the book? Do I know why? Do I know why the gnome would have been the only one able to read it?
Because he's a chump.
Know thy enemy. Give it a know thy enemy roll. Oh, and also, have you guys been marking down your failures?
Oh, right. Yes.
So,
I
I
totally
think I have like
have.
one. I have one from last game.
I got an 11.
oh, excellent. You know that only the gnome can read the book because it was magically created by said gnome. And you know that if you can figure out a way to read it, the book will answer questions for you.
I want it so bad.
We need his
Yeah.
eyes.
I want to open it so bad, but
You do.
Go ahead, lose your sanity.
Yep.
It's fun.
I think I have like I got a fair amount of sanity.
I'm just telling you.
I want to see. I want to see what this anti-Semite had written in his book.
You're not allowed to read the book.
I agree. You're not allowed to read
Why?
How old are you? Like you're in the.
I'm in my early 20s, late teens. I'm already an adult, halfway through my life.
It's the prohibition. No fun allowed.
If I was but a man, I could have gone off to war.
I could have fought in the Great War. The war to end all wars. Never
died
again
with
will our
poison?
world fight in such an egregious way.
And you could have gotten blown to pieces too. I like you where you are.
I like me where I am too.
Look, if a 10,000-plus-year-old fae can't handle this book, I doubt a 20-year-old woman could handle this book.
Well, that just sounds like you don't believe in the ingenuity of 20-year-old girls. I'm gonna try and read the book if I can.
I absolutely don't.
I'm gonna hand the book to Beltane.
Damn it!
Do not
That's
open
a
it.
good idea.
Sorry,
Yes.
guys, I'm trying to answer a couple questions, so go ahead and keep talking amongst yourselves.
Do not open the book, Beltane.
Of course not.
And that is an order from me. And make sure it is safe and where no one else can find it except you and me.
Of course. I know the perfect spot. I tuck it into my coat.
Well, now I can't read the book at all.
And Lilith's going to go up into her chambers and she's going
We're in the car.
no,
What
we're in
chamber?
the house.
We
You made it back to the manor already.
Never mind.
No,
I
Beltane's
thought
been
we were.
catatonic since.
Yeah.
All right. I thought we were in the car. I said we're not in the car.
We're not in the car.
We're not
By
in
the way,
car.
I changed back into my trench coat in the car.
I'm gonna go up into my chambers and I'm gonna get dressed differently because I gotta get down to business.
That's right.
So when Lilith comes out, she's like in a suit that's black on black on black.
Nice.
And like half her hair is just kind of pushed to all one side. She's like, I'm gonna have to talk with some people.
Parker like straightens her tie like self-consciously.
Handbag up.
Really nice pinstripes. It's like the pinstripes are just like not even gray, they're just like a slightly different black.
Well, I got some people to talk to myself. So I reckon we can just meet back here.
Sounds good. Just tell the guards you want back in. And Hazel, here. Pull something out of my trinket bag and hand it to you.
Oh.
It's to protect you when you go spacey. It won't let the Fae in. At least not the bad ones.
Just kind of leans forward. You mean I could have been letting the bad ones in this whole time?
It's a miracle you're alive, woman.
You sure you don't need something for when you go spacey?
If I go spacey, you better run.
Hey, boy. Ah.
Just we'll take the charm and look at it and kind of figure out whether or not it's supposed to go like around the neck, around the wrist, ankle.
Beltane takes it and puts it on your wrist. It's a bracelet, love.
That makes sense. You probably mentioned it before, but I was distracted.
It's okay. It's God, you're hard to talk to, woman.
That's what John used to say.
All right. So
Lily's just gonna look at Beltane and be like,
look, I don't. Let's go.
Hazel, what am I gonna do with you? They're stealing kisses, they're giving you jewelry.
I know, it's almost like I'm important.
Oy vey.
But it's the 1920s. We all know what the real score is.
all right. I'm gonna because we switched scenes and that was amazing. Everybody who's lost a luck point gain 1 luck point back.
Whoa! Oh, I haven't used any luck points.
I've used so many luck points.
I've
But
been
now you
saving them
have
for a
one.
rainy day.
Now you have one. So you've split up. I take it, Beltane, you're taking Lilith in the car, and the Harkers are hailing a cab.
Yeah. Hail a cab or hit the streets. I'm gonna go find me a newsie.
I can provide you with a driver if you should prefer that. Beltane is not my only driver.
I'll take if you're offering, I'll take them.
I'm gonna astrally project myself in the car. If we're already going around, might as well just have an out-of-body experience.
So, you get one of the boys to drive them around.
Orc gentleman.
And is it a human? Or...
Oh yeah, it's a human named Jack. Because you gotta have a clever Jack.
All right. So,
Jack be nimble.
Yeah.
Jack is driving you around in the car. He's a younger man, and he's a little bit on the chatty side, and he seems to be taken with the both of you. And he's asking, so where do I need to take you?
Just keep on driving until you see a newsie.
Oh, all right. Did you guys go to the big soiree with the boss?
It's none of your business.
I'm just slack jawed in the back.
Are you going out of body?
Yeah, I'm having an out of body experience. So my body is just in a car going around old Timeysville.
So let us make a moxie roll, I believe.
All right, moxie. Oh, 13.
Ooh.
13. Whoa. Okay. What is your purpose in your astral flight?
If anything, I would want to use a luck point because I was nice to the gremlins that were in the library and I didn't know that they were making arrows. But now that I am past the veil, if their arrows could possibly lead me along a trail that would take me either to this primordial or something like that, because the offer that I gave them wasn't necessarily immediate food, but I let them know where they could find trash food, and that's like an infinite supply of food. So I don't know what our Fae contract looks like, but
okay.
I am looking potentially for arrows leading to Rosie.
Okay. So 13 is pretty amazing. I'm gonna say what you're seeing. It'll be a clue, and then I'll give you another clue. This is a clue to story, and then I'll give you a clue to the primordial. But I do want to separate the two so that you don't go down the wrong path. So what you see now is there's maybe 2 pixies on top of a metal garbage can, old-timey metal garbage can, and they're swinging. One of them has a match lit, and he's swinging it back and forth like a torch, and the other one has some kind of, it might be a needle, maybe it's the needle from a compass, and the bottom part, the rounded part, the non-pointy part, between where it would post on and such, is wrapped with something. And he's swinging it like a sword, and they seem to be under assault from the gremlins. The gremlins are trying to get at the trash can, and these 2 pixies are trying to fend them off.
Hands on hips. I told you where to get sandwiches.
and it's nowhere near the museum. This is just some random trash can in the middle of out in the nice neighborhoods, actually, if that's where Lilith lives.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So you do see that. You can interact with that or move on.
I will interact with it, but I'm going to use watch this to push the gremlins away.
Okay.
And just give them a scare so that way I can go and talk to the sprites and the pixies.
All right. So go ahead and let's roll up on
Moxie.
Yep.
Oh boy, that's a 7.
Okay. It's still a partial success. So you know this astral wind comes through and you go through them, and they kind of dissipate and come back together, and they're all wobbly and they're freaking out. They were kind of, using each other to kind of chain themselves up to get to the pixies, and this disrupts them, and they do scatter, because whatever just happened, they don't want it to happen again.
Get out of here, you trash pandas.
And so the scurry little trash panda / Germanic shadow gremlins flee the area, and I guess the pixies probably could see you. What does your astral shape look like?
My astral shape looks like me, but like prettier times 10. because just in case John ended up being able to see me, I wanted to be able to look beautiful for him. Like I was, at least a little dolled up.
Gladriel, I will be their queen.
Yeah. In the moment where it's the push past, just I will be their queen, and then afterwards, just I'm so happy all of yous are in such good condition still.
Okay, and they are looking upon you, and the one has his little pseudo sword out in front of him, and the torch one has the torch back like he's ready to swing it.
I am going to get as close to them as I can and squat down so I am at eye level with them. And then it is very much one of those like closed eyes, big grin on my face, and just I'm not gonna hurt you.
Give me a charm roll.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Oh boy. That is a
Fail.
9.
I see partial. You gotta run with these partials, man.
I just always feel so sketchy with partials.
and I just moved something in the story along as these are occurring.
I just want to talk to these little boys.
If it was straight up like Dungeon World rules, I would then give you choices, and I may do that at times. But in this case, I've just decided what'll happen.
This is your game system, Graybeard.
I'm working on it.
JB.
You're not gonna hurt them, and I guess one of them is like, "So you're a ghost?"
And I'll just kind of nod, just something like that, yeah. But I'm not gonna hurt you.
and as he's doing that, his hands kind of slip off and touch the metal, and he switches his grip again, and he's just kind of waving this sword around, trying not to touch the metal. So why'd you help us?
Because I'm always going to be there to help those who are being aggressed upon. Regardless of creed, I will be there. And at that point, if I can, I want to reach out and touch the sword and just level it down.
Okay.
Even if it does cause stress unto me, I want to still be able to show them that I mean no harm.
Okay. Yeah. So let's go D4 -2, minimum of 1 damage, because you are purposefully taking
2.
Okay, so you take
it was
1...
4, so then half to 2.
Oh, you already did the math.
Yeah.
Okay.
I figured it would be easier.
That comes off your sanity because you don't have a physical form right now.
Got it.
So and they see the sacrifice, they understand what you just did. And the one with the match is like he's almost spitting on it, and it just fades and goes out. And then the other one lowers the sword, and he very carefully puts it through his belt. And how may we be of service? And they do a bow.
Well, first off, I'm looking for a Groth.
How would they react? I guess I can't have you guys roll. Oh, well, somebody roll me 2d6.
It's a 5.
5, okay. You know, we don't know him.
Shit, sorry.
Well, what about Rosie? You know her? And I'm just gonna try and calmly talk to these sprites for as long as I can to try and get any information from them.
Yeah, hit me with another a couple of D6s. Somebody.
I'll do it.
Yeah, please. I'll fuck this up.
Double sixes, brah.
All right. You mean the half orc that lives up in the big house?
Big and scary?
Yeah.
Spooky wooky? Yeah.
Spooky wookie, yeah, spooky wookie. And they
Looking for
they
her.
Sometimes she'll leave out a whole pizza.
A whole pizza, you say? That's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta go all the way to Little Italy to get one of those.
My Rosie's got a good heart.
You know
And
where
they're just looking.
You know where I can find her?
Pizza seemed to distract them, and so you got to put them back on track where you can find. Jeez. Okay. 2d6s. Somebody.
Okay. Okay. This is 6.
Total.
Yeah.
Total. Okay. Unfortunately, the pixies do not have a
Don't
bonus.
let me roll anymore for anybody.
They don't have a bonus in brains. So it is a failure. And they're like, yeah, we know where Rosie is. Follow us. And they
Astral me will totally follow them because I have no idea that they are not the best at this.
So they're flying along, and you're following after them. And as they fly, they kind of blink like June bugs occasionally. And because you're astral, you can see the little sparkle trailers following their wings. And they go zipping through a fence, and you hit the fence, and I need you to make another astral roll.
Oh, Lord, that's a really bad roll. Can I use... Wait, so it was luck to either re-roll or just say, like, a thing happens?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna use my last luck point to re-roll because I got a 1 and a 2, and that seems like a really bad roll.
Or you can see the wrought iron fence, realize it's a wrought iron fence, and they went through it because they're this big. And
I'm totally gonna do the latter. That doesn't involve me taking any damage.
Yes. So you wing up at the last second over this wrought iron fence. And do not get it. Said iron is indeed, and lead will keep your astral projection. A lot of metals will keep you at bay. But industrialization, and so you continue to follow them, and all of a sudden they speed up, and they zip off, and in your astral form, you really can't smell the world, so you're just follow along.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got nothing else to do. I'm a physical body slack-jawed in a car somewhere, and so spirit me is doing my best. Oh yeah, there's definitely drool. Just
Parker's in the front seat putting on lipstick.
And they zip up, and they you're astral now, you can see. They zip up on this creature that's digging through a refuse bin, and the creature's back is these bubble like pustules, and the bigger ones look stretched and thin and almost transparent. And they zip up on the creature, and you can't see, it doesn't look like it has a head. It just looks like one big back and stringy long arms that are digging through the refuse. And the pixies begin to spin and circle, and they actually like start forming like a circle ring of sparkles, and they begin talking, but not in a voice that you can, or a language.
I speak English and maybe a little bit of Spanish.
And when you say that, the whole body of the thing spins, and its spindly arms come up, and its head is like part of its back. You know, it just is like its face is almost like its shoulders come from here, and it turns and it raises its claws, and then it says in English, "What I owe." And one of your little pixie friends says, "She's a ghost," and they're still doing circles. And
you don't need to tell him that much.
Yes, like that, just like that. If I didn't have two
for
shirts
all of
and
you audiocast listeners, this is just another reason to check out the live stream of games.
yeah, we'll do it up just like that.
It's like you put the whole of your shirt over your forehead and brought your arms up to your chest and just made
exactly
dinosaur hands.
And so it then goes, "So you can't touch me then." Nothing to worry about.
Well, not with that attitude, but maybe you should just mind yourself a little bit better.
Sure. Maybe I should. Nice to meet you, Ghost.
I'm not a ghost.
What are you then?
My name's Hazel. And I'll kind of like give him a bow. And it's one of those, like, I'm in like a sundress and a nice little white hat. And so like I extend the dress out and like give him like a tip of the hat and then back on, dress goes back.
And when you do that, you see the pixies in midair like get all excited, and they're doing it too, even though they don't have dresses on. They're mimicking your movements.
It's a little bit of a flourish, a little bit of a bow.
And such manners you have. Would you like some of what I found? And he pulls out a big hunk of like moldy donut, and is like holds it up.
You know what? What's your name? Before any of this.
There's fairies present. I can't tell. You could call me Paul.
Paul?
Yes.
I would like that very much.
Well, here you go. He hands you a moldy donut.
And I bring up my finger and just sort of shake it and just, no, not for me. For us. We're going to have a picnic.
Oh.
Why is everybody having a picnic while my wife is being tortured? Like her soul is being tortured.
And I'll
always time for a picnic.
I'll if there's a way, I have no more luck points. So if I can spiritually manifest a picnic in front of me somehow with maybe watch this.
I'm gonna say, well, okay, if you want to try watch this, go ahead with no modifier. If not, I want you to make a brains roll, and I'll give you a clue. So you choose which one of those you.
I'm gonna choose watch this.
Okay. All right.
That's a 6.
Oh. Okay. You extend out and you try to manifest a picnic, and your dress starts to form into the tablecloth, but it's pulling you with, and you begin to turn into the picnic, and you lose focus of your being, and
damn it,
you wake up in the car.
In a way, I was hoping I was going to be like Mrs. Potts and Chip and just be sentient pieces of a picnic. I'm okay with this as well. Just
now, you do remember where this is. So you are awake.
Okay, I am awake. Go with my sister and everybody else during this time.
Yeah. We've been at it a while.
Yes.
So let's jump. Go ahead. Let's totally jump over. Sorry, Wings. To the other car, and Titiana is roaring down the road. Where are you headed?
What is my standing with Don Biggie Bad Wolf?
Ooh, give me a charm roll.
I haven't rolled. My last couple of results are so bad.
Well, you got rid of all those. See, now it's the good time.
Good thing I got good charms. That is a 9.
Okay. Partial success. You guys are not currently at war. So I mean, you would do business with each other if you had opposing businesses. Like they might need construction and they'd come to you and, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, sort of thing. And you could make some kind of deal. So.
Okay. So can I say that before I left, I grabbed like a really nice, because I'm kind of like a mob wife, I'm going to assume I have alcohol because I can.
Yep.
Like a really nice, whiskey bottle.
Super hooch.
Yep. Okay.
And it's in my bag. And I'm heading to Biggie Bad Wolf because I can.
Right. Okay. So we are going to, you're there. It's Biggie Bad Wolf's place. There's a garage and a parking garage and what the heck is it called? Like an A-frame type house.
Mm-hmm.
It's massive though. It's like 3 A-frame houses put together. Like the middle A-frame is probably 3 or 4 stories. And the other 2 are like 2-story A-frames coming off of it. So it has like a center thing and then 2 more A's coming off of skulls. Coming off of it. And then, like I said, like some kind of huge parking garage type thing. And as you pull up, it's sort of through a wooded area. And it's by a lake. It's a little ways out of town. And, basically when you got to the gate, there was a couple of thugs there and they, stop you. They, figure out who you are. They call up to the house and announce your presence, unless you wanted to do it differently.
No, that's fine. I guess everybody just knows me as Rosie's wife.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, okay.
Right. And that's
Mrs. Riveter.
Mrs. Riveter.
Yep. All right. And with that, unfortunately, I got to do a scene change. And what are we at a time? Oh, yes.
We still have enough. We're still good.
Great. So
go for it.
Quick scene change.
Yes.
Somebody do backstory or something.
Yes. Let's get some Beltane because I have to use the restroom, so it would not be Hazel.
Okay.
I want to know how Beltane and Harker met.
Do it.
Right.
That way I can listen in on
A long time ago, before Wales was the Kingdom of Wales, the elemental primordial beings formed into what we know as the Fae beings. And out of those Fae beings, Beltane was born. Through his years of... Yeah, he's old. He's one of the first elemental beings known as Spring, or Mayday, or his namesake, Beltane. He grew, developed, helped establish a few English empires, made a few deals, and then, after a few hundred years, grew weary of this constant warring between the Celts, the Romans, the Scots, the English, the Welsh, the Irish. It just became drab and bore. So he made his way to Europe. And he witnessed the most fabulous sight in all of his Fae life. A vampire ripping a head off of her sire. He was quite smitten. So he followed her all the way to America, watched her, learned, and eventually became a servant to this fabulous vampire. Then in the early 1900s, he came across this detective. He was robbing a store. She found him out. The robbery went kind of tits up, and this detective had a choice to make. And Beltane had a choice to make as well. He chose to make sure the detective lived, wanted to make sure this robber went his way, so ensuring the detective's safety, they kind of begrudgingly became frenemies. But Beltane kind of respected this detective's work and followed her career up until the point she lost her dearly beloved. And from there, he's been watching in the shadows, making sure things were leaving her be. A odd, protective, silent shadow, so to say. And now he's here, driving his way over to Biggie Bad Wolf.
I love Beltane so much.
Kawaii Dairy Dairy said regarding detective watching over Detective Harker, creepy, but I find it kind of endearing.
Fays are creepy little shits. Of course they're creepy. He did it out of respect because Beltane doesn't forget his friends or people who let him go in a robbery gone wrong.
We're like the twilight of friendship.
Oh no, GB's
No!
Hello, all you members of chat, and welcome. I am going... So since GB switched, I know what to do.
Welcome
It
to the
means
mosaic.
that back in 15 minutes, we're legally
switch.
allowed to leave class.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I should say Beltane has 3 other siblings, but I think only Mr. Smalley Hugh knows that.
Hold on, I'm gonna roll to rescue Rosie.
Oh, God.
Did we do it? Did we win?
I literally rolled double. I've been rolling like 5s and higher all night, and that was the time I
My wife.
Oh well.
Look, all I'm gonna say is that I finally found out what my accent was, maybe about a third of the way through this.
It's started to infect Greybeard as well. I'm very pleased.
Look,
with this.
I hope so. All I have is I wanted to say an NPC. A rando, not main character from a Doctor Who episode where there was a 1920s girl who was really in love with a man named Laszlo.
Wait, his name's Laszlo?
His name was Laszlo, and it was actually Andrew Garfield who got turned into a pig man.
Oh no!
It was an episode called The Daleks Take New York.
Oh,
And
I saw that one.
it was a good episode. Good
Yes.
episode with David Tennant as the Doctor. Just want to say for all of you people who are like, 10 is mine, you should watch that episode. But, with that in mind, the main character of that pseudo arc had the bullet curls like Wings describe, but also talk like this. Because she was just so in love with a man named Laszlo.
So, Indoor, I kind of screwed us up.
That's okay. I already got it figured out.
Awesome.
Goodness.
Awesome.
Awesome. Oh, now he's stuck like that. He's
God, I hope so.
I hope you're ready for all of your D&D campaigns to be DM'd like this.
Your big
Roll
bad is like
I'd
that.
like for y'all to roll initiative.
All right, are we ready to walk in?
We are ready to walk
I don't
in, whatever
know.
the hell this is.
You're
I'm going to
going
put
big
myself
bad
on
wolf.
mute. I'm going to preemptively mute
Yeah,
myself.
stop.
All right, and you are being walked in. It's it's almost like the most opulent hunting lodge you've ever seen. There's animal heads on the walls. There's weapon racks, weapon cases, and you're brought into a room with a billiards table, and sitting at a desk is none other than Biggie Bad Wolf.
I thought you sounded a little muffled. Okay, for the audio cast, he's got a gun and a hat, a suit, and a very lovely and terrifying wolf mask. It's Biggie Bad Wolf in the flesh, everybody. Say hello.
A Thompson submachine gun. It's a stage prop, no real guns. And so you walk in, and immediately Biggie Bad Wolf says, "Boys, it's Mrs. Riveter. Look out back. Rosie's probably sneaking up on us. Probably gonna want to try to take us over. But we got his missus." And what do you say, Lilith?
I assure you, no such thing is happening.
Yeah, but some of my boys are missing, and we know that it's you.
Me?
Well, you know, your significant other.
Biggie, I think we have a lot to talk about. We may have some things in common that you did not know about.
Yeah, well, I got this loaded with garlic and holy water bullets. So don't try anything.
Whatever makes you feel safe.
Oh, and you could see that like his muscles all ripple, and you can hear the shirt that he's wearing, which is werewolf sized, rip at that insinuation that he's not the alpha. And but he's like, sure, why don't you have a seat over there? And he points like the billiard table between you and him, because obviously he knows something about vampires.
I'll speak in French and say, as if that table is going to protect him.
Can I spend a luck point and use it on Beltane?
Sure. What are you thinking?
I don't want him to go catatonic on me.
Oh, nice. Yes, go ahead and spend your luck point, and stressful situation will not trigger Beltane's catatonia.
Okay.
Due to his loss of sanity earlier in the game.
Yes.
And I'm gonna be like, why, dog father? I come here all the way to see you bearing gifts, and this is how you treat me.
Gifts, huh? Never looked a gift steak in the mouth. What would you bring along?
And I'm gonna take out of my bag and just hold it like this, and it's a very nice bottle of whiskey.
Some primo hooch. You orcs always did have a good contact on that. So, hey, come on, get us some glasses. And he then motions you forward, like sure, come on up.
Okay. I'll go up.
All right.
Not too close, but.
And one of his mugs comes back with a couple of shot glasses.
I will pour it out and just like hand one to him. That's a sign of good faith.
Right. It is good stuff. Thanks. That's gonna stay here when you're gone.
Depends on how our talk goes.
Maybe we could make a deal for some more of this sometimes. The boys, they would this would be a very special treat for them.
We can definitely talk after.
So
Mm-hmm.
you say Rosie's missing, huh?
I said no such thing.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I said we have things in common.
Oh, we have things in common. Okay. So what do we have in common? And why are you here and not Rosie?
Why, my good Don, you said some of your men are missing.
Well, yeah. Who you missing?
Rosie?
What? How'd you lose Rosie? I mean, she's like an armored car. You don't misplace an armored car.
I know, trust me. Now, it has come to my attention that this is something very magical. Now, I was hoping, how do you put it? You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours?
Yeah. I like it behind the ear, but, it works for me.
I need to know if you know anything about a primordial.
Huh. There's nasty. They, like old school Bible gods.
Older than that.
Have you heard of any primordial named Groth? Groth?
Yeah. Hey, Groth is, I think Groth is the grandfather of Gaia. Us werewolves like Gaia. She protects the earth and all.
Do you have any useful information for me?
Well, if you're looking for Gaia, you're looking for Earth. Deep Earth. Yeah, that's where you're looking. Somewhere way underground.
Any specific spot?
Give me a charm roll.
Yeah, damn it.
Or are you going to try to use one of your powers?
No, I'm trying to establish a very good relationship right now, and I don't want them to know I use powers on them.
All right.
That's not bad.
Not bad. I am doing fine if I cover a Graybeard screen. I can't.
You got a problem with Biggie Bad Wolf?
No, I don't. I just can't look at him. I'm sorry.
You're disrespecting the Don?
Yeah, I'm the dog father.
I'm not disrespecting. I legitimately can't.
All right, sorry. Charm roll.
An 11.
Oh.
That's my powers.
And what was your question again?
Where specifically could I find Gaia?
Perfect. Well, sometimes you got to get rid of what's left of bodies. Sometimes you can't eat them all, and there is a place that we dump them. It's an old mine shaft. It's not too far from here, but you got to take a boat to get out there. It's in the rocks.
Okay.
I mean, maybe we can, make a deal.
She just looks at him expectantly, like an arch eyebrow.
I got boats. I got guys who can run boats.
And in exchange?
Well, you give me a little bit of that hooch money. Tell you what, the clubs you supply at the north side of town, my boys deliver your hooch. Come on, who's gonna attack Biggie Bad Wolf's boys?
You get this south side near the docks.
Yeah.
And I'll teach you a bit of fairy fire to burn bodies.
Huh. Sold. That sounds like a good plan. Besides, if that's where they're at, my boys will be there too.
Mistress?
Deal.
All right. Puts a big wolfy paw out. All right. He's like, now, let's have some more of that hooch.
She'll like push the bottle over. Like, not like push it, but like slide it over.
Okay. And he pours each of us a drink and, you know, through his nose, obviously. All right. And I unless you have something else, we'll change scene.
She's just gonna look at him and be like, now, Biggie, I can be a very good ally. So don't fuck me over.
Oh,
And then she's gonna have really big, like, fang, toothy smile.
and he, you know, he becomes all teeth too, and he's like, yeah, it'd be an interesting day, but you know, you don't swing my way, and we got your wife to save. So, boys, come on, get the boat. Let's do this. And with that, we'll cut, and I'll get out of this flaming hot mess.
I couldn't. I had to block the entire scene. I can't. Graybeard, you did an amazing job.
Yes.
The dog father. All right. Yeah, we got enough time. That's awesome. All right.
Also, before we continue, if situations end up being the case, are the rest of you available to run a little bit later than we normally go?
Good.
I am.
Good. Okay. Cool.
It'll only be 5 a.m., but it's fine.
I don't know what your sleep schedule is, Jen!
Might as well. If you're already up at this time.
You're already up, so...
I took a nap. It's all good.
So GB, we are good for running at least another little while if
we need it.
If we need it.
Yep. And I don't know what I did or what I hit when I was in that mask, but I totally jumped out of everything. So my apologies. I'm gonna straighten some speeds out here.
Too.
I thought what you were trying to say was like, I don't remember what happened after I put on the mask. I just became someone. Biggie Bad Wolf took over.
Became Biggie Bad Wolf.
I was gone. I was just gone.
I was gone, man.
Something else.
I was immersed in Biggie Bad Wolf. By the way, those of you who rated and joined us late, Biggie Bad Wolf has a Twitter account. So go check out Biggie Bad Wolf's Twitter.
If you love life and everything's
That's
fun, you should check out that Twitter.
And
at
you know,
Biggie Wolf, he's great.
he's got a Twitch account too. So someday I will wear the mask for like 2 hours and play Hearthstone or something.
GB, if you don't, I will.
Install
like
fan.
fans and just put it in there.
Yeah, exactly. Computer fans. All right, so you're out on the water in the fog. Oh, we got the other party members. Okay, sorry. Back that up.
There are other people, yes.
Yeah, I would like to wait for them.
Okay, so let's say somehow you get the word to them.
Magic, because Faye, Beltane, he's like one of the OG Fays.
Mobile phones don't exist.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's a Faye thing. Yeah, pixies deliver the message.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can live with that.
Is this a human with the sight who is our driver, or are we getting the message from the pixies?
You get the message from the pixie.
Right. I imagine that my newsy angle is a dead end. Like, I keep on asking newsies, like, hey, have you seen so and so? Have you seen so and so? They're like, yeah, they're missing, but we don't know what happened to them.
Yeah, and you can't seem to find a goblin one.
Whatever happened to him doesn't sell the papers.
Exactly. Hold on 1 second. I gotta get. There's my notes. Okay. Yeah, let's say that you end up talking to Detective Smith, your ex-partner.
Shoot.
And Smith basically says that the newsy thing is probably a dead end. There's never been a body found. Whatever's happening to them, they are gone. Which you kind of knew, but now you know that in the real world, beyond or in front of the veil, you know that people aren't finding these dead newsies. So it's not a Jack the Ripper situation or something. Wherever these people are going, they're vanishing. Do you, Hazel, tell your sister about the Paul? Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell my sister everything that I saw while I was in the spirit world.
Okay.
Okay.
What kind of creature do I think this chest face was?
If you roll and know thy enemy, and we'll see.
I'm gonna re-roll that. Haha. That's an 11 on the die. 12.
12. Oh, nice. You know, this is some kind of like a barghest, like a type of ghoul, that eats garbage.
Better than flesh.
It would definitely, if it could get flesh, dead flesh, it would eat dead flesh and, snap bones and suck marrow out of them, that kind of thing. But obviously this one is digging through garbage.
Does she have any idea where it was?
Yeah, the bakery. You know it's at the bakery.
At the bakery. All right. Did she get any useful information out of him?
No. She was about to make the deal, and then she lost her form to try to become a picnic.
Should we drop by? Do I think he's dangerous?
Oh, if you're dead, yes, he's very dangerous.
Oh, so he'll eat you if you're already dead.
Yes.
Okay. But I also think that he's got information.
Yes.
It's a lead. I give the driver the directions to the bakery, and on the way over, I ask him, "Hey, you ever see anything weird?"
And you mean in Claveport? Of course, there's all kinds of weird stuff here.
Yeah, well, how weird we talking?
Well, sometimes I swear that the boss and some of the people, they got green skin and like elephant horns coming out of their lips.
Huh. Interesting. Keep your eyes open. You might see more.
All right. Bakery is closed, but I'll take you there.
Take us to the bakery. I didn't ask for hours, Chief.
Okay.
Is Hazel astral projecting again, or is she just asleep?
Yeah.
No, if this was post, she would be awake. But if it was pre, then just...
It was post because she wouldn't have known about the bakery otherwise.
Okay, yeah, I would just be like huddled up in a big coat. Otherwise, you use a lot of energy to be able to astrally project.
So You get to the bakery, and most of the garbage cans are tipped over and poured out and looking like trash pandas had been there. And you see this bubble-backed nightmare, snapping and gnawing on something.
Hey, Paul.
Hi, how are you?
She's just kind of standing there.
He's actually looking at Hazel like she talked instead of you, but
she's just kind of standing there looking aloof with her hands in her pockets.
Who's your friend, ghost lady?
That's my sister. Not a ghost, unless it helps.
So we had no picnic. I got a ham bone.
And I'll like long arm, non-couthly, just bat at my sister's arm. Just picnic. They need a picnic, like when we were in the library.
Are you okay?
Projecting takes a lot out of me.
You're looking a little green around the gills. She's gonna like just kind of like grab her head and like turn her face side to side. Well, shoot. Okay, I'll use my bag for another picnic.
Okay.
Always bring 2 picnics with you when you leave the house.
That's the most important part of any investigation.
That's
2
a
picnics.
Haka family secret. Keep 2 picnics in the briefcase.
All right, you skimped on the last one with just honey and tea, and now you pull out a jar of peanut butter and something else that would stay. And the fact that you had a second tablecloth, that's just dumb luck, because you just scraped a bunch of stuff in. You got lucky.
2 picnics in the hand, with 1 in the bunch.
That's right. So you lay out the spread, and Paul comes over, and he's stopped at the edge of the blanket. And,
I hand Hazel a sandwich.
And a big slimy goober of probably what's in the pustules on the back kind of begins to roll down. And he slurps it back up. He's standing at the edge of the picnic.
Harker's gonna light a cigarette.
That's such a great habit to have. I heard that there's a prince over in England who uses this to support his social anxiety.
Harker blows a cloud of smoke in the air. So from what I heard, you were talking to my sister. You had something to say.
I know where the bodies end up.
The bodies?
Yes.
We talking goblin bodies? We talking pixies?
They fill everything down there.
Where exactly is down there?
Picnic. Information.
What do I see as somebody who cannot see through the veil? What do I see as this person? Just information.
It's a homeless old nut job. They like bunny slippers and like pants that used to have knees and a bathrobe, but like under the bathrobe is like 3 flannel shirts and probably some kind of knit cap, like thick wool cap that sits low on its head, and a big bushy beard. And probably eyebrows too that are,
wild.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Oh, and horrible nails. I mean, it's a gross homeless person.
In the 20s, gross homeless person.
Gross.
Ah.
I think we're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel here with my picnic fixings. I think we've got a can of peanut butter. I don't think they'd have plastic jars at this point.
Glass jars.
Yeah, sure. Maybe a glass. No, it's the cheap stuff. It's canned peanut butter. Peanut butter, sardines, and half of a sandwich that I was saving for later. And I'll take out that sandwich to sweeten the deal and drop it down on the grubby like tea towel that I now have. It's not another picnic blanket, it's a tea towel. I'll drop that on the blanket and I'll be all like, let's hear it.
So we have a deal?
You tell me where it is, you don't bother us, you get the food.
All right. And it puts out its clawed, taloned paw that it just wiped the slime with.
Put my cigarette in my mouth and...
Yeah, tough as nails. I love it. All right. The mine shaft out by the rocks. That's where they put the bodies. That's where the good eating is. Well, was.
Am I familiar with this mine shaft?
Yeah. Well, you know where the rocks is. It's literally an outcropping that the ocean smashes against, that they drilled into to get precious ore out of.
Alrighty. Cool.
Yes?
Oh, it was one of those. Aha!
I thought it was a hey.
I will make a verbal component if ever I'm cast.
Every like visual confirmation that Indoor gives looks like, excuse me, I have a question.
Well,
I've been politely sitting in class.
He's always polite to me because half the time I'm like, and I don't want to interrupt anyone else, so I like get excited and then
and then down.
Yeah.
You're not like me who just starts going, ah!
Either way works. Shriek at me.
Thing.
I will know it's your turn.
I face that behind the guy.
Exactly. I smite him mightily.
Yeah, no. All right.
With my great sword.
With my great sword. I ask him if he wants a smoke.
Oh yes, Paul. He sees you and he's like, oh, yes. When he puts out his talent clawed hand.
Yep, I'll hand him a smoke and light a match for him.
And he pinches it like you have between your fingers, but it's between these long yellowed curled nails, like way out here. And then he puts it in his mouth and he leans in.
Oh, the smell must be horrible.
And you try to light it.
Yep, just.
All right, you light it, and he goes, and all of a sudden, one of the bubbles on his back bursts, and this goop flies probably 3-4 feet and spatters on the side of the bakery and the garbage can he was pulling from, and he's and he starts like.
He just eats it.
Like he's like trying to eat it, and he's like, and this is probably a non-filtered, just a smoke, right?
Strike, yeah.
Okay, all right. He eats it up, and then when the fire part gets to his mouth, the cinder falls off, and he just keeps eating, and he's like, I've had worse.
It was nice meeting you, Paul.
Very nice, and he his long arms come out and like envelop the food, and he pulls it in, and you notice that at this point when the real food, as soon as it leaves the tea towel, a batch of pixies like shoot up from like nowhere, like little like little fireworks, and they start doing a circle around him, like they're gonna vulture in on it stuff he drops because he's really freaking gross. And so lots of bits and bobs fall and they snatch him up. So
amazing.
And now you know where the bodies are going.
All right. I'll put out my cigarette and go get into the car with Jack. I have a question.
Yeah, whatever.
Where is the book? Where did Lilith put the book?
Oh, you have a general question. Lilith, where did you put the book?
Beltane has it.
Okay.
That's right. Okay.
He tucked it into his coat.
Oh, right. I remember. Just checking. Have we gotten the pixie message yet?
Yeah, at this point when the firework pixies went off, one of them kind of went like indoor. Did an indoor move and then whips over and like circles around your head.
Get away.
And he's like, but I give a message. As he's kind of waved away.
A message from who?
Big bad wolf. Well, from a pretty
bad wolf.
Pretty lady who was I work. We sometimes you gotta work.
I smoke like half my cigarette down.
All right, and he's like, you gotta work. So sometimes we deliver messages for people. And he's like,
what's Lilith doing talking to Biggie Bad Wolf?
I don't know. It's just a messenger.
Well, just give me the message. What is it?
You're supposed to meet him at the rock. There's the mine shaft. And he starts to like look over, and you see that somehow Paul has used his nail to scrape open the peanut butter can, and the lid has like cling, fallen on the concrete of the parking lot in the bakery, and the pixies are like they're like like all over like like mosquitoes on your arm when you're camping, kind of thing.
They
and
probably just look like flies to Hazel, right?
Yeah, probably. And
those gross bugs.
And
he's just talking to a fly.
And yeah, he's got he's like scraping with the nails to get the peanut butter in, and
it's gonna go right underneath the enamel.
That's awesome. So what do you do or say, Wings?
They told me to go over to the mine. They told me they're meet us at the mine shaft.
Yes.
Sounds like they got the same lead. We better meet him there.
And
now she'll put out her cigarette.
All right. And you're in the sedan,
yep.
The SUV of the times, as it were.
Jackie, to the mine shaft.
All right. And you say it that way, and you see he's excited about it because he's feeling like the boss told me to do the thing, and so he's like he's got the truck up to like 35-40 miles an hour, pedal to the metal.
Nice.
Okay.
It's twice the allotted amount of speed zone for a school or other residential district.
So we are already over. So
yes.
Let's go ahead and we're gonna jump right to, unless we're coming back at another time, but we want to finish tonight, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Tonight is
so
before we finish.
You meet up. You enter the mine. It's like a black granity sort of solid stone, and it has been chiseled and hammered through. It is dark. Those of you who are not creatures of the night will need some sort of light source.
I don't have a torch. or anything else that'll let me see through. I don't think my sister does either. Do we have a torch?
Does anybody have an applicable skill or reach into a kit?
My briefcase is for monster hunting.
Maybe if I use my psychic abilities, I can see through the eyes of a creature that can see in the night. A torch would probably be easier.
Are we
I'll
talking?
dig into my trinket bag and pull out a oil lantern.
Perfect. Our little hurricane lantern.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. You spark it up and you enter in. As you obviously, kids, gangsters, somebody where the boards once were, like planking this off, they're gone. They're not even, it's not even broken off. They've been gone for some time. As you begin to descend into the mine shaft, those of you with heightened senses you're getting a heat and a smell, and it's like a sickly sweet tropical rot smell. And as you continue to descend, it's getting warm. It's getting much, much warmer. What is the marching order or configuration?
I'm going to be in the back because I'm just a 1920s girl. I may be a little bit of a spitfire, but I'm still just a lady.
I was gonna say I'd be second in line, but I don't think Lilith and Beltane would split up. So I guess I'm going first.
Oh, all right. Leading the way. And Beltane, did you give Detective Harker the hurricane lantern?
Yes, I gave it to Detective Harker. I'm right behind her. I'm just like, you want this? I mean, I can see, but
Okay.
Human eyesight's quite limited.
I don't know. Do you freely give it?
Yeah, I'm giving it to you.
Just take it.
Good call, Harker. Good call. Hate to be in debt to a 10,000-year-old fae. So, I guess Beltane would probably notice it first. There is a magic here, and I need everybody to roll their moxie.
Ooh.
I'm really good at my moxie.
I'm moderately good at that.
That's going to be an 8 from Hazel.
Reroll that.
Fuck.
Here's a look.
Sister, no.
Better.
I got 3.
Sister, please.
10.
No, wait. Oh, actually, hold on. That's Moxie. Sorry, I forget. I roll so high that I forget you can add stats to things. It's a 5. It's still a failure, but.
Those of you who succeeded take a D4 damage to your sanity. Those of you who failed take a D8 to your sanity.
Oh, jeez.
You are literally entering hell.
Great.
I have no idea what my pen
That's
was.
very fun.
So, just out of
If I wind up
question.
having to roll on the sanity table, can I choose? Can I choose my insanity?
If you've got a great idea, I'm always for it. So,
All right.
and if anybody goes under half, let me know.
I'm already there.
Right, exactly.
I have no idea where my
What
pen was.
is, what's the whole? So we ended up getting.
What is that, boy?
You know.
Are you okay there?
Hazel turns into Gollum, and you see Hazel's real form.
Hazel, speak to me.
Hazel's the actress from the TED movie.
What is half on a success?
So if you succeed,
what is the success? Like, what is the bare minimum?
6 is the success.
Oh, thank God! I did it.
6 is fail. 6 is still a fail. 7 to 9 is the partial success.
Well, I'm at half, so
okay.
Yeah.
All right, bust out that insanity chart, good sir.
Okay. Well,
Right.
Music makes
I'm
you
gonna
lose
turn out to be
control.
the only sane person here, and that's a problem.
I'm saying.
That's an 8 for Hazel. So,
Crazy, you're all crazy.
foam of toes.
I'm
Tell
saying.
me.
And Beltane, go ahead and roll a fortitude.
What page is this table on?
So it is. I am doing 8 through 9 as each of the different demon lords from Mordenkainen's. So 9 is Zenigmoy, and 8, which is what I rolled, was Yenigo. And Yenigo on his, which I would need to roll a D100 instead of a D6 like I had before. A D100.
What?
Oh boy, so 90. I keep trophies from the bodies I've slain, turning them into adornments.
Okay. All right.
That's what Hazel's about right now. Hope you're all ready for a new girl.
I rolled a 10 in fortitude.
Roll again.
No. Fortitude. That's it. She's or he's trying to save against going catatonic, and the earlier luck point obviously keeps you going. You started to drift off to the summer court, and you like shook it off, and you're like, no, my mistress is in danger. I can't be off somewhere else now. So you shrug it off. Good job.
Yeah.
Everyone else good? Just took some damage?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Oh boy.
It's just you and me, detective.
Wait. So, Beltane, you fell beneath half as well, right?
Oh,
But
this is from before.
Okay, before. Got it. Okay, yeah. So it's just me and Beltane who are just. I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
what is
they
this?
are
Is this-
naturally crazy, so
Is this like a creeping dread that overtakes us, or
Yeah,
is
it's-
it like all at once, like a wave of like
You-
psychic energy, or
As it began to get
Body parts.
thicker and warmer and
Mhm.
and stuff, it was almost like a miasma that was filling the space. And so yeah, you basically walked into a funk. The jungle sweet rot is some kind of miasma. It is the basically the breath of growth.
yeah. Don't get me wrong. This still hurt. I am 2 points away from insanity.
Yep.
I'm sure
Feel
you're
your
doing
mind
fine,
reel.
sis.
Hmm.
You are always the stronger of the two of us.
Hazel, you okay?
I'm doing fine.
I used to have a rabbit's foot. I want another one.
I need at least 3 more to form a small cuff on the outside of my left shoulder.
God damn. Harker's got like a gun in one hand and a lantern in the other, and like she whenever she turns around, she turns like violently so it swings and it
Okay.
shines into whoever's face she's facing.
Okay. Perfect.
oh, I would say because Beltane's purely almost insane. It's very Fey-like to you now. He's very lost the form that he's had, and he's more wicked looking, I would say.
God damn.
It was
and-
like, this is not good.
Is this like physically? I mean, this is pretty physically apparent to me that Lilith and I are the only ones that got our got all our marbles in the deck,
I got
all
really,
our cards in the bag.
I got really dark bags under my eyes now.
let's push forward. Yeah, they look a little cuckoo in the coconut, and but anybody have heightened senses other than the sight?
No.
I mean,
Maybe when I astral project, but not right now.
I mean, you would Lilith in beast form, but did we?
I haven't used it yet. Okay, so question about beast form. Can I do it when I choose, or do I have to lose health to do it?
I'm pretty sure we set it up so you could choose.
When are we supposed to use our experience to get new abilities? Because one of us could cash in some experience for some heightened senses.
Seven failures.
I'm sure
7 total.
Yeah.
I got one.
Yep.
Cool.
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Okay.
Would I be
Hazel,
able
I
to
swear to
use-
God, if you don't stop freaking me out, I'm gonna send you home.
Don't do that.
Would I be able to use a luck point to like help Beltane not be as crazy? Like instead of staving it off, like kind of like make him not take the damage that he just took to his sanity.
Let's do this. Go ahead and spend the luck point and tell me how you're going to ground Beltane. What are you going to say or do to try to pull them back?
I'm going to very firmly call out to the power of our contract and command him not to.
All right.
Like this is a command from his mistress that he has to keep it together.
All right. So let's go ahead and go middle of the road on a die. Beltane, you can take D6 sanity back.
Okay.
Called out by your mistress and held to your contract.
Cool. So 4 back, so 6 sanity. Yay!
Out of
11.
Okay, you cross back over. In times of stress, I might call out your catatonia, but at this point, you believe that you're stable enough to not go catatonic.
Woohoo!
When do our equipment bags refresh?
When you get somewhere to refresh them. So like if you had said something at Lilith's house, or you said, oh, I go to the hardware store, or I go and I use money that I have now to repack it.
Cool. I've still got some uses left. I'm fine. Can I know we can't, like we're standing outside the door of the boss room and making you very nervous. But can I use some of my monster hunting equipment to try and ward Hazel so that she not necessarily to fix her. I can't I think that's outside of my that's outside my purview. But I want to like prevent it from getting any worse.
Okay. You do know that you probably have a flask of whiskey or such somewhere, either in your case or in your pocket, maybe, which might give her back a couple of sanity points.
Are you saying drinking makes you more sane?
Might calm the nerves, as it were.
Remember, kids, drugs and alcohol.
Only in the 1920s.
That's right.
That was back when we had lithium inside of our 7-Ups.
Well, we had cocaine in our Coca-Cola.
What a time to be alive that was.
And a lucky strike was 1 in 20 cigarettes was a marijuana cigarette.
I do still have my hip flask. I will pull that out and kind of look at it sadly. I'm gonna hand it to Hazel and be like, drink up.
I'm gonna stop her. I'm gonna put my hand out and block it and just look at you in the eye and have this, like, the Hazel's totally sane right now look going about her. Just,
I'm so crazy, I'm sane.
It's all right.
For the first time.
It's like the dead island.
It's all right, sis. You're the important one. You need to live. If anything happens to me, I'll just go back to John. It's okay.
Make a charm roll.
okay.
Who's charming who?
Hazel's charming you. Trying to talk to you.
Was a solid 9.
Yeah, you believe your sister. She's okay. She doesn't need your hip flask.
Don't worry about it, sis. Hazel's got this one.
I'm going to take a swig from the hip flask and put it in my jacket. Then I'm going to pop open my briefcase. I'm going to pull out an oil or a little vial of witch hazel. And I'm going to dump it out into my hand and then just start smearing it all over her like it's sunscreen.
All right.
Stop. That stinks. Stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gross. Why do you carry gross things on you?
Yeah, kind of repels said Faye, and Hazel, it doesn't smell bad to you. So. Okay.
Maybe I have a
It
personal
does smell
preference.
weird. Don't get me wrong.
Lilith,
Right?
did you want to beast out now?
How long does it last?
Oh boy, we didn't put that down. Transformation, right? You can only do it once a day, right?
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
It's like a minute, and then when the minute.
No,
ends,
I can foresee it lasting. It could last an evening, if things continued to work that way.
So would that be about 6 to 8 hours?
Right. Like I said, you could beast out, but again, you're gonna be in beast form, so we're gonna put you in that headspace too. You're not as sharp or as thinky as you are. You're more bitey and clawy than.
I will beast out when I start sensing, like, not just like, oh, we're in a bad place, but like there's danger.
All right. So as you're moving along, because no one truly has heightened senses, you don't hear it until you're coming around a corner. And when you're coming around a corner, the cacophony of screams becomes apparent. High pitched, low pitch, bellowy from the body, almost like a roar, a din of screams, as it were. Just beyond the corner. What do you do?
I'm sure this is fine.
Hazel, we're gonna go out drinking later. Smoke some Molly. You and I. You're a crazy chick.
I'm just a young girl in the 20s. I don't know if that's acceptable for me.
It is tonight.
There's a lot of things that are unacceptable for you, and you are already participating in several of them.
But do you think someday I'll get the ability to vote?
Yeah, I mean,
That's
the munches.
madness. You might as well let goats vote if you're gonna
I
let
love
women
how
vote.
much of an anachronism this is, because Detective Parker never would have happened. Hazel's really realistic. Right next to Detective Parker, who's all like, yes.
We're helping a lesbian vampire steal back her wife from the devil.
Do you think I'll be able to vote if I smoke this jazz cigarette that I got from a stranger?
From a tall, dark stranger from the Feywild. Right.
His sclera is quite black, but his pupils are blue. And I know that because in the 1920s, people were occasionally allowed to read books.
I'm gonna get real close to Belle, and I'm gonna like grab him by the arm, and I'm gonna whisper to him, "Listen here, he knows how much this means to me. I will owe you one." She like looks away for a second and like makes a face like, "Ah!" I will owe you one.
Damn
if you
right,
make sure my sister gets out of this alive.
All I gotta do is kill him and then put that face on your shoulder as a pauldron.
You sure you want that alive?
Harker just gives him a look.
Okay, I mean, sure, we have an accord. I'll get your sister out. I hold out my hand.
I shake his hand.
Damn, detective.
Whilst I'm shaking his hand.
Oh no.
How do rolls against other players work?
It depends on what you're doing, and it could be an opposed roll. Highest roll wins.
I will 100% like spend even a luck point to make this work for me, but I want that book, goddammit.
So you're gonna try to legerdemain the book?
You should know that Lilith is like right next to Beltane because they have not separated.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
if
like,
you want to fill up my chest there, detective, that's okay.
So let's do dexterity versus brains, I think.
Can I do like a perception check thing? I don't know how to do it in the game.
I saw his pustules. There's a lot of excess skin. You could just lay it on top of yourself after.
You're really sure you want that alive, detective?
So
it'd make a nice armor.
It'll be opposed agility versus brains, and you can do a Lilith can do a brains check to notice.
Come on, dice, don't fail me.
Would I be able to impose disadvantage on Lilith by talking to her? Like in my madness, just, it wouldn't be the worst thing. If I got his face, John would be with me at all times.
We are 2 steps from hell.
So let's
We can't stop. Let's punch around the front door.
We're all
Sure.
betraying each other at the doors of hell.
Hazel, give me a charm.
I'm gonna use my charm to the best of my ability to remind you my love is dead. And if I had a piece of him on my person, we would be together always.
Detective.
That's
You
a
can't
4.
make me promise.
All right.
You can't make me
What'd you roll, Belle? What'd you roll?
I rolled an 8.
You rolled an 8? That's great, because I got a 9 on the die, and agility is my highest stat.
All right. So you get the book. Lilith, because Hazel failed, you're like, nutter. No, you ignore that, and you're like, what's going on over here? So go ahead and make your brains roll. You're looking to beat a what?
You're looking to beat a 12.
A 12?
Yeah, because she's
My
plus
highest
3
stat.
to 9.
That.
All right.
Don't worry.
I feel like I would notice a book being taken out,
The way that this looks, we're both wearing like big jackets, right? I shake hands with him, and then I pull him in. I give him a big hug.
Total Trump handshake.
Yeah, like, oh, come here, big guy.
Even
We're
if
such
I
good
had
friends.
a lot, that's like too wide.
All right. Oh, yeah, you were definitely distracted by the I would wear John's face at night.
Lilith's like, I
who
understand
else-
where you're coming from, but no.
You know who else had a big jacket? John. And then he died.
All right.
All right, we are at midnight, so
Exactly.
Yeah.
So hug, whip around, and I'm like, like book into my trench coat surreptitiously. Let's go.
I'll be like, detective, you really need to like look after your sister. She's.
I'm not losing it. I'm fine.
Okay.
I swear, I will send you home.
Step around the corner.
Yeah.
That's out of character.
So you step around the corner, and you've already taken the damage of the miasma. You are not sure what you're seeing. Before you seems to be a network of this stringy plant-like substance, but it's not a plant. Is it like eels? Is it tentacles? What is this goop?
What color is it?
It is like a dark green, and it spans as far as the eye can see in the chamber, and there seems to be light in little corners, and it's little dips in the rocks that are burning fat, maybe, and this substance seems to be stretched in all directions, and it seems to be attached to the cacophony of the screaming choir that is the fae, the monsters, all of the supernaturals that have gone missing, except there are no goblins, there are no pixies.
They're too small.
It would appear that the only things that are here and have these tentacle primordial ooze, as it were, attached to them are like werewolves, half-orc, troll, the bigger creatures with some kind of either regenerative power, strength, some physical strength, or some and this is mostly you, Harker, and Beltane, are figuring this out. And again, we would make rolls, but we're past the time already. And you see that this network is connected to the creatures that are either very specifically powered or have some kind of innate toughness or other ability. You also realize that whatever the primordial ooze is, it is draining them of these powers and abilities. So, from taking tenacity and strength from, right there, it's Rosie. They're drawing off Rosie's strength and tenacity, ability to take a hit, or toughness, and the werewolves, their ability to change and heal, and such, and the troll's ability to regenerate. This is what's being drawn into the primordial mound, as it were. The cavern floor is naught but this being. Again, that the veil is very thin, and you can feel that the unnatural fog is coming from here. This is what is trying to get through the veil.
Does Hazel see only a bunch of homeless people? Just like on the wall, like,
no.
Okay, I can see actual.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Because you are beyond your sanity point. The veil has been stripped away, and this is the weakest point of this is the convergence where the embodiment, avatar, and or real Groth is attempting to burst through into our world.
Got it.
what do you do?
So I see Rosie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to unleash this motherfucking beast.
All right. Let's take a look at Unleash the Beast.
So Harker is totally expecting Lilith to do like the Rosie, and then like start, sprinting over to be all like, Rosie, are you okay? And so Harker puts out an arm to like stop her, and then turns around and goes, oh, shit.
All you see is like her fangs getting. I picture her, you know how you have like the long fangs and the tinier fangs in the back? So those just getting super long. You see black veins start to like crawl up her face. Her nails get really like claw. And then her eyes have like a thin, like red kind of like coating over them.
Dag you.
Does your clothing, is it absorbed into the transformation like magically? Or are you still wearing
I'm still wearing it. There's not much of like a whole physical. It's just like getting more like feral.
It's the tasteful tear up the side legs, so that way you can spread your legs out a little bit more into the feral stance.
Buttons pop off a little.
Just a little bit, a tasteful amount. It's the
Vampire
1920s, so
Kung
the
Fu.
fact that we can see your ankle is already salacious.
Yeah. I'm already wearing pants.
I know.
Just boils.
The vapors.
As soon as you put your arm back to hold her back, that's what you see.
Yeah. She just like jumps back, and that lantern goes like
Getting around.
I'll lean over to the detective and say, "And you thought I was scary?"
Okay, what do you do?
So is this like goop going through the space? Like, is there somewhere where I can actually walk?
Yeah, you could literally walk up to almost any of these creatures. Some of them are suspended higher than others, but Rosie's pretty ground level. And so, out by chains, and then the tendril things have gone into like her calves, like all the way up to her calves, and probably, elbows. But her hands are still there, and you see chain. She was initially hung by chain, and then the tendrils are attached like through the forearms.
I am breaking chains with my bare hands.
All right, go ahead and give me a strength with let's see.
Do I have advantage?
You do have a claws damage, but you're actually just trying to snap chain.
Okay, I do have. So it's roll plus bronze. I got good bronze.
Okay.
That's an 11.
Nice. So ka-tink, and she's like, "I knew you'd come, babe," and kind of just lumps it onto you, and kind of a sloppy hug, but it's a hug. It's like that you've hugged her this way after 8 rounds of boxing, and she knocks someone out, and then she just kind of flops on you like, oh my god, kind of thing.
Can I say, just for like the dramatic of it, can I carry her?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, particularly in beast form. So are you going to use up some blood to super speed it out of here?
Do we want to save the rest of these people?
I'm already trying to like pull stuff off of the person closest to me.
I'm going to tell Beltane to like help the detective, and I'm walking back towards like the entrance, but still being able to see.
Okay.
But with Rosie, so she's away from like the weird goop.
Okay. All right. And it when as the goop came out of her, it literally was part of her. So as you pulled it away, she was becoming it. So she's got bits and chunks missing that are just a slime layer of acidic sort of goo.
I'm trying to help her the best I can.
Yep. As you guys are you know, Beltane and Detective Harker, you're trying to release these things. The one guy, you kind of wake him and he immediately like you know, werewolfs out and snaps and then realizes what you're doing, and he's like, you know, like, oh my god, yeah, help me out. And as you get him free, he begins to step away, and you realize that even these things are even in his back. And as he pulls away from it, he sort of splits in two, and he takes like two more stumbling steps, and he just collapses in like you know, like half a werewolf body, you know, slaps to the floor, and he's dead. You realize you have something, Hazel?
Oh,
all right.
Yeah. Hazel does have a thing. Finish the scene.
Okay.
Finish your description, but Hazel has a plan.
And after you do that, you see the other beings, you know, now they're being racked with something. They all are, instead of a different cacophony of screams, it's all one, you know, massive scream across. And I'm just going to tell you so we don't have to roll, but you start seeing boop, 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 pixie and sprite size goop balls, little globs take to the air like they're like a mosquito, like a bulbous mosquito type creature, but they're all this green primordial ooze, and they're flying with wings that should not let them fly. And they have like a big proboscis like a mosquito, but they look like a bloated mosquito already. And then they're just coming out like one after another. And then you notice from the edges of the thing, of the primordial pool, these sort of shapes all plop out when they sort of have arms, and they drag themselves out, and they're like goblin sized, but they're these little goblin sized goo monsters.
No, that one's Bobby.
They start coming towards you.
I'm going to be like, we got a bucket, because I'm not risking my wife. These people are gone.
Sorry.
I'm not risking my unlife for this shit.
She's not risking her wife.
I'm not risking my wife.
This is my wife.
My wife.
Hazel's idea was, this is, in Hazel's mind, one organism. That means to her, this is a one-on-one. So she should theoretically be able to psychically shock this creature into potentially letting go of things that it's holding. Or if she, for a brief moment, because she really wants to turn any part of this into like a thing that she can wear, if she can mentally swap like she did with the other creature for just a minute, it would disrupt the hold that this creature has on all of the other things that it's currently containing. So Hazel is going to try and in that moment swap places with this creature.
With the primordial?
Yeah!
Alright.
You sure you want that alive, detective?
Detective.
I don't think I noticed this is happening.
Right.
I certainly wouldn't allow this, but I was just leaped at by a half melted werewolf, and I have trauma with werewolves, so I've been distracted.
I was just gonna like shove a boat in there and like light it up.
Yeah, no, I was gonna ask Belle if he had anything explosive. Hey, you got some dynamite in that bag of tricks?
So what you do see is Don, Biggie, Bad Wolf, and his boys came up from the boat, and are now standing armed and letting the goblins and mosquitoes have it. Just pop,
Oh.
God damn.
Covering your retreat.
I scoop up Hazel because that's part of my contract.
All right, Hazel.
Let's see if Hazel's got it in her. Or if maybe something bad'll happen.
Maybe you'll get me out of my deal.
This is using Moxie, right?
Yeah.
That's a 7.
Okay. All right.
Wait, hold on. That's a partial success, right?
Partial.
Yes.
That's the threshold, right?
So, for a brief moment, Hazel, you are connected to every living thing on the planet.
And it all misses John.
And it all misses John.
Oh no!
You can feel every rotting, dying thing everywhere. You can feel all the life, all the birth, all the death everywhere. You succeed for a brief moment at swapping places. Does anyone want to do something with the primordial that is now in Hazel's body?
Well, I just picked up Hazel. I'm like,
Yep.
you just said our body detective as I carry her out.
Is there anything we can do?
Fey logic.
Well, give me a brains roll. Actually, anybody but Hazel can give me a brains roll.
I'm sure this is gonna go fine. Boop.
11.
11? Nice. Anyone else? What would we get? Successes?
Brains roll. We're rolling a brains roll about a supernatural thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use my know thy enemy.
Okay.
Can't to reroll.
Yep.
That didn't help a whole lot. 7.
Okay. All right. Lilith, you know that if you kill Hazel, Groth will not be able to come onto this plane. The embodiment of the primordial is in Hazel right now.
I hate you so much, Hazel. I hate you so
Welcome to playing games with Indoor. Feel the pain.
Don't worry, I'll take all the pain and all the suffering into myself.
You don't have a mouth, and therefore you cannot scream.
Oh,
I will make sure we're all like out of the mine shaft.
Mm-hmm.
And I will grab the detective by the shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell her that is the only way that this thing is not crossing over and killing everything.
Harker is not cool with this.
I will give Parker an option.
You're gonna put this on me.
Technically, if
She says,
I
No. There's got to be another way.
we could how would you feel about your sister being a vampire? Technically, she'd be dead. That's the only other way I see.
Listen. We can make this as a character choice, or like this could be an in-character choice. In character, Harker's not going to be okay with this at all. As a player, I think that's a really fucking rad idea. I'm asking you to do it against Harker's will and like, you know, gain her enmity forever. Because I think that it would be really cool if you killed Hazel and made her into a vampire.
And did have the detective hate me forever?
Yes.
Beltane will speak up and say, there is another way. Just...
Exactly, by the way.
I'll trade my immortal life for hers.
Oh, shit.
No.
A fae freely giving the life of themselves is an equivalent exchange that the old ones will honor.
No.
Everybody wins.
No. You lose. I lose.
I'm just a fae.
I imagine that this we wouldn't have this much time to have a very long conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bite into Hazel's neck.
I think this is just a situation where you kill Hazel.
Beltane tilts Hazel's neck back. You know, I'm just a fae. As I offer it to Lilith.
I'm going to bite Hazel's neck.
So Beltane, you're not switching?
No. He picked up on what Lilith was trying to do and just made sure it happened.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that when the werewolf jumped away, Harker got knocked to the ground, and she is just getting up and witnessing this.
Yeah, maybe Jack from the car. You know, he doesn't have a gun yet, or if he does, he already used all his bullets on goblin goo, and so he's helping you up, and you're looking past him to Lilith going in for the bite.
Mm-hmm.
Slow-mo, bites down, kills Hazel with the primordial in its body. The primordial vanishes. Hazel snaps back in and dies. And
I will do whatever I have to do to finish this vampire ritual.
Yep, the whole, you know, they bite your wrist, exchange of blood. As you're doing this, Biggie and his boys think they're winning. And they're like throwing sticks of dynamite into the goo, and it's exploding and spattering all over the roof of the cave, and the cave is shaking. And they, like I said, they think that they're winning this battle, and the goo skeeters are like sticking in, and when they hit, they look like a mosquito, but when the proboscis goes in, then the bulbous body just goes and slocks on, and they start tugging at it, and as they tug at it, it just stretches between and starts to all venom out, you know, kind of thing, and starts, you know, enveloping them as they're stretching out the primordial goo. The goblinoids, they don't get close enough. They just, you know, popping holes through them as they sort of shred themselves as they get close. And as the dynamite is going off, the cave is starting to come down. And you've got to go. So who's carrying Hazel? Beltane still?
Yeah.
Okay. And you have given freely of your blood, Lilith. Hazel.
I saw John. He's doing okay.
And you were snatched away from John, brought back to undeath.
Oh no, you'll never be with John now.
No, that's not true.
Oh, yes! That's what I get for trying to kill myself on stream. I'll never be with the one I love.
Have a soul.
And Biggie's boys, some of them totally wolf out and carry the other ones out, and they're like, Dave, how are you doing this? You know, kind of thing. as they come sprinting out of the cave as it just, shoots dust and debris, and the rock settles and you hear it snap and crash down, and the cliff face itself sort of slides out to a jutting angle. And with a breath of, you made it out, that's where we end.
Yes! Thank you! Thank you, GB! For running this amazing game! Oh my god! This has been fantastic. You let me die. You let me die, and I'm so grateful, because not only did I die, I got to stay a character, and that's good enough for me. So, with that in mind, with our absolutely incredible Dungeon Master Greybeard, where can we find you? What do you do, sir?
I am currently here, hopefully Wednesdays and Thursdays, as often as I can be. I have thrown the net out there to get on some other shows, but right now I have not gotten picked up by anybody, so I'm still looking. But you can catch me Sunday on my own channel at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 to noon, 10 to 1, playing some Darkest Dungeon with, a few of the props that you have seen here this evening, and gnomes and masks and hats and a lot of fun. So join me there. And we got a couple weeks left, or at least 1 week left, of Tuesday night, where I play Krog Goreblast, Goliath Gladiator. And we're going to be doing our epilogue to the Waterdeep campaign. And I'm sure I'll be back on some more indoor stuff all the time. So see me here.
Please come back to the show as like an earnest person, not just a Dungeon Master or showrunner, but like, please come back to the show.
As soon as you have a spot for me, buddy.
Always.
Always
I'll be like for you, GB.
I'll be like a goblin globuloid.
All right. And Danae, where can we find you? What do you do?
Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do drawings mostly related to D&D and other nerdy things. You can find all of those at DanaeKeener.com.
Yes, and I believe sometime in April, Danae, you are going to be running...
That's right. I always forget. I always forget to say this. Well, okay, first of all, you can find me here on Mondays playing Coriander, the Eladrin Paladin. But you can also find me here on Tuesdays after Waterdeep is done and through, running Curse of Strahd for all of my very, very good friends. I'm excited to be getting back into Barovia and doing spooky, scary things to people. So
spooky wooky.
Go back and listen to the first 2 episodes. Go back and listen to the first 2 episodes of Death House to get ready for that. You can find those on the VODs. Well, actually, no, the VODs are probably self-destructed by now. You can find those in the backlog on YouTube or in the audio cast, wherever you can find podcasts.
Yes. Woo. And Satan, where can we find you? What do you do?
Hi, my name, well, they call me Satan. You can find me in Twitter at Alyssa Vamp with 2 P's. And I am a role player. That's what I do. That's what I've been doing for the past couple of months, maybe about a year for now. Right now, on Saturdays, I am playing my main game, which is with a show called Plot Hunters, and right now we're in Waterdeep, and I play a buff half-drow barbarian named Alina, and I've gotten into a couple other games. Greybeard, we have one with Damonberry, LP Hack 'em Up, and Lazy Bones coming up in April. Damonberry is in May. Sorry. May. I got a lot of dates in my mind. In May, and I believe it's Ghost of Saltmarsh, and Damonberry is going to be DMing it, and I'm very excited because every time I play with you, Greybeard has been amazing. And I've heard nothing but good things about LB and Lazy Bones. And tomorrow, I will actually be playing Horde of the Dragon Queen with Damonberry DMing as well, which we're starting tomorrow. I'm not sure what channel, but follow me on Twitter and you'll find out. And this Saturday, I may or may not be running my first one shot over at Plot Hunters because my DM is going to be at Gen Con. And I'm not because I'm poor, but I may or may not be running it. I don't know yet. I gotta figure out how to do streaming and stuff. I just play usually. And that's all I got.
Awesome. And I don't believe it would be Gen Con because Gen Con is in August. It might be PAX East.
The cons that are going
PAX
on.
East is this weekend, so if
that one
probably PAX East. But Jen, where can we find you? What do you do? Our Fae resident.
Hi, Jen, and you can find me on Twitter, but you can also find me over at the RPG Lab being a DM and a player. I'm also at the SS Adventure. He plays on Sunday with my halfling sorcerer who's being consumed by the Shadowfell. It's fun.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
I love sorcerers.
I'm actually going to be playing a Shadow Sorcerer from a Shadow Kai Shadow Sorcerer tomorrow. So
It's a fun class. It's a fun class.
Yes! Shadow Sorcerer is one of the first classes that I ever rolled up for an online stream game. And hey there, adventurer fella. If you like online stream games, consider checking out indooradventures.podbean.com or anchor.fm/indooradventures, or because I have a real problem with consistent branding, if you want to go to youtube.com/theindooradventurer or twitch.tv/theindooradventurer, or possibly patreon.com/theindooradventurer. You can find all of our VODs either in audiocast format or video on demand format. Also, we have an after show that we like to go into, which is called Nights in the Courtyard, where we discuss questions from the audience as well as questions from each other based on the character decisions that we have made in the last session. So we are going to be heading into Nights in the Courtyard posthumously. I don't know if that is the proper term, but yeah,
it is for you.
Today
it is for Hazel, who found her accent maybe an hour and a half into the second half of an episode, maybe. So
I can't imagine that we're not going to talk like epilogue stuff during
please
the
God,
today. So
please,
yes.
all the gods.
Real quick, something we forgot. Indoor tomorrow night. Superheroes!
Yes! Tomorrow night, Power Outage, the tabletop RPG that was hand-delivered to me through the powers of the internet by the creator of Power Outage, the tabletop RPG, to run a stream for people. So, in this game, it is a game so pun-heavy, it broke RJ. And if you know him from our Monday and Tuesday night games, he is a prince of puns, and it killed him. The amount of puns made him stop. It made him stop punning for an hour, at least, which is longer than I've ever seen that happen, and I've met him in person before, which is incredible, and we will be meeting each other in Gen Con for probably the first time evers. Well, not me and RJ or myself and Danae, but everybody. Our Monday nights, our Tuesday nights, everybody will be at Gen Con. So if you see us there, say hello or maybe take a picture. I have all of the tools necessary. Oh God, this is heavy. All of the tools necessary to make some buttons. So I'm going to be trying to make some buttons before Gen Con as well to hand out. And if you collect all of the buttons, because why wouldn't I make collectibles? Maybe something cool will happen. But we are going to be going into our Patreon supported podcast. So I would like to say thank you to Greybeard, especially for running such an incredible campaign with scene changes and costumes and props. And legitimately, I was not prepared. I was not prepared.
But we're going to come back to this one day, right?
We must.
Right, guys?
We have to come back to this.
I'm just saying, Extra Life this year. Extra Life this year. We come back
Yes.
and we do this again because please, 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 I need it. But
Next time we come back, the detective's gonna try and re-sticking me through the heart.
Maybe.
Oh, you wait till the epilogue.
but we are gonna go into all of that right now in our after show. So patreon.com/theindoor-adventurer. You can find all of us there. And until then, we will see you guys later. All right, everybody.